carnage in this space. But of course, I'm not going to do it alone. I'm going to invite some other people onto the panel today as well to have a discussion. So I want to have a real conversation. All right. First and foremost, I actually thought that this interview, right, I wanted DFW to push back a little bit more. Right. It's the same thing I felt with Jesse Wu and Ricky about Bry. Okay. I'm going to say the same thing. I would have wanted more of a pushback from DFW, right, in terms of the truth in terms of Tyler. And when I say pushback, what I mean by that is having, when you have the facts in front of you, being able to trade the conversation, right? So being able to say that when Tyler said, "Oh, look, you know," when Tyler was saying about never going to the baby shower, right? That's an observable fact. We can actually ask that. We can get the other party involved, and we can get the ex fiance and be like, "Hey, did you go to that baby shower?" Right? So that was important. When he said no, we're like, okay, cool. We can go and answer that question then. If you say that never happened and you say that's not the truth, all right, we can now go to the ex fiance and ask that question. Another thing also that was highlighted in that interview, and like I said, what I mean by DFW, what I wanted by that, it's not necessarily about accountability in this aspect, but yeah, okay, let's call it accountability. I wanted more of a trade. If he says something, if we had the evidence for it, to be able to say, but what about this though? And what about this though? And what about this though? Right? That is what I wanted from DFW. Now, me personally, I know DFW. You know what I'm saying to you? So the same way I know Jesse, I know DFW. You know what I'm saying to you? So I like their platforms. They do different things. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And so what I realized is that both Tyler and Jesse Wu did a great job in terms of providing a platform for people to speak. You know what I'm saying to you? And be able to say their piece. You know what I'm saying to you? And it's for us as an audience to now begin to decipher through that information. Okay? Yes, but would I have wished that DFW pushed back a bit more? Absolutely. Absolutely, because there were more questions that were there, right? So that for me would have been what I would have wanted, right? The same way I said about Jesse Wu and Ricky. It's the same thing. Now, watching obviously Jesse Wu, Ricky, and DFW having a conversation, they're the same people. I was confused. I was like, wait, Jesse, Ricky, I hear it, but you did the exact same thing that Tyler did. Although you had the proof, there were major questions that needed to be asked of Bry because she had an ex-wife that came on that told us some crazy things. So I would have wanted, some pushback on that aspect too, which is why I was looking, I was like, wait, so Jesse and Ricky, you guys had a similar interview, right? The reason why Bry went on your platform is because there were going to be certain questions that somebody wouldn't ask. And the same reason why Tyler went on to DFW's platform is because of certain questions he ain't gonna ask. That doesn't make anybody better than the other person. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Right? And I'm not putting myself in a better position of interviewing because I'll be honest with you, I'm glad it didn't come into my platform. Because probably me, I would have said something way too far and it's probably not for me. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm glad they went onto those different platforms because they got to speak. Would I have wanted more trade-off? Absolutely. But in reality, both sides of the interview, right, managed to get as much information as we could. So now that we on the other side can begin to ask questions that are real about the situation. Do you see what I'm saying to you? So that, for me personally, I was like, okay, cool. I'm seeing both sides. I'm seeing both sides of the situation here. You know what I'm saying to you? Now, I want to be very, very clear here, right? I want to be very, very clear here. Watching the DFW interview really helped me to see how much Tyler, quote unquote, is a liar. It's that simple, right? Because now we got to hear it out of his own mouth. Do you know what I'm saying to you? First and foremost, when they asked you a question about whether the twins were conceived naturally, he intentionally dodged the question by deflecting and going around it. Okay, he intentionally deflected and went around it, which meant now I can now call you that liar because it's now coming out your mouth. And now you said it. Okay, all right. You've now said it. Okay, and now you've gone around the question. As well. So for me personally, I'm like, oh, okay. Now you hanging yourself. You know what I'm saying to you? So I understood where both now I understood. I was looking at it and I go, okay, And he cornered himself by saying about the twins, about the reason why he's not going after the twins is because of the fact she got a new girlfriend. So you did abandon the kids. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, then I looked at it and said, oh no, you did abandon the kids, because now you're telling us that in that situation, that, you know, the reason why you're not going after the twins is because Bri has a new partner, not because of the kids, not because they're not your kids, but because Bri has a new partner. That is what let us know. Now it's out coming out your own mouth that you're a liar. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So it's like, I like I said, I would have rather that DFW had more of a trade-off with him, right? The same way I wanted Jesse Wu and Ricky to have a trade-off, but I saw how both of them brought out more questions about the other. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, actually, also because Ricky and Jesse did a great job in the fact that they, and Bri as well, brought up the receipts, what happened now is that there can be a bit more of a push to question, question on Tyler. Okay, all right. So and if you listen to Tyler very carefully, and I'll do a full breakdown tomorrow when I get the video and I'll do it properly. I'm still away, so can't do a full breakdown. But once we finally get Tyler, what Tyler was showing was that actually his beef wasn't even about the kids. His beef was, first and foremost, his image was being run through the mud. Number two, right, he was more concerned about trying to nail Bri too. And number three, the aspect also too was that when Tyler was talking in the DFW interview, right, he made it this whole fight not about the fact that he abandoned these kids, right? And because he kept on saying about the sperm donor, you know what I'm saying to you? Is it a sperm donor? Is it not a sperm donor? If it's a sperm donor, and you and then you said you want to be part of the lies, why are you trying to position your argument in the space of, well, I got pushed out, so I left it alone, and I'm not? No, bro. Is it your? If it's not your kids, then you being pushed out isn't the issue. If it's not your kids and you didn't want the kids, then it's not your issue if you got pushed out by a Bri and the ex-girlfriend. So him trying to use it, I was like, you're not proving anything apart from that you abandoned them kids. You know what I'm saying to you? That's all you're proving. You know what I'm saying to you? That's all you're doing. You're proving that they are not your kids. You know what I'm saying to you? So my whole point was that's what I was saying to you. I was looking at it going, Tyler isn't getting away with it. He thinks he's getting away with it, but he's not getting away with it. If anything, he's caused himself more issues and more carnage by talking the more he talks. So I didn't like the way, like, again, I'm going to say it again. In my way of doing things, I wanted DFW and Jesse Wu to push back, right? But that's my way of doing things. You know what I'm saying to you? Right, the reason why that Bri and Tyler chose those platforms is because the pushback wouldn't be so heavy, and that's fine. That doesn't make them bad or good. It means that is a platform they want to go onto, and actually, we have now got to a better place. We've now got to a place because now we've got more information than we ever had before. Now, here's my real truth. Here's my darker truth. Okay, that you're not gonna like. Here's my darker truth. I felt like this in the last conversation between Jesse, Ricky, and DFW, it lost a little bit of impetus for me. Here's why I lost a bit of impetus. And I'm going to say something, and it's going to be a little bit heavy for some of you. Me personally, if it's about the kids, I feel like we're going a little bit askew. Here's why. First and foremost, we can see that Tyler's a deadbeat, okay? We can see Tyler's a deadbeat, right? And if Tyler's a deadbeat, right, then he should be held accountable, which not just by a platform, but then he should be held accountable. He's going to go to court. They're going to hold him accountable, right? She's got all the receipts, so she can prove that in court. That's it. Yeah? Now, the other aspect is, if it's really about the safety of the kids, then we've got a bigger issue. Because when Jesse Wu and Ricky did an interview with not only with Bri, they also had the ex-wife on. And my question is, if we're saying we can't do things about people who are not a part of the show, why the hell would we bring on the ex-wife for? The ex-wife doesn't need to prove. It should only be Bri and Tyler speaking. But we got the ex-wife involved. Now the ex-wife is involved. We got a bigger issue. See, if we had this is my issue with the actual situation. Once Deshawn is not a part of the show. She is the ex-wife of Bri. We did not need to know the ex-wife side of the story, yet we brought it in to try and nail Tyler. Now, my issue with that is she said some things that are actually concerning about Bri. And if it's about the kids, I'm going to ask you a serious question. I'm going to ask you a very serious question. I had a conversation with my people behind the scenes, so I'm asking a serious question. If it's really about the kids, I'm going to put it this way. Would you want the kids, allegedly, with somebody who tried to unalive their partner and potentially was abusive to their partner? If it's really about the kids, would you want the kids with somebody potentially who's tried to unalive their partner and be abusive to that partner? Now, Tyler gets held accountable even more, because if Tyler knew this and came on a platform and told about it, then he's also an issue too, because why would you fight for the kids to stay with the abuser? And you said, and this is why Tyler's going to be held accountable even more, because he came out and said, well, you know what? It's a really bad relationship that I have with the family. Then bro, you better fight for them kids. You need to fight for them kids. You know what I'm saying to you? That you need to fight for them kids, because they're in a place where they don't need to be in. Do you see where the problem you're gonna have now is? So it really is about the kids. And this is why, as I said, the conversation becomes a problem, because it lost impetus about being about the kids. It became about nailing Tyler. And that's where we're gonna have an issue. Because by nailing Tyler, we're going to have to ask some real hard questions, which is why I said about Jesse Will and Ricky's interview, you cannot leave it as being, well, you know what? I know Deshaun shared that she almost was unalived, but we're trying to get Tyler here. Well, then it's not about the kids then, is it? It's not about the kids then, is it? It's not about the kids. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Because if it's about the kids, then we have to ask questions about Bri too. Now, I said, first and foremost, I said, here's the thing, okay? And I'm not confusing issues. If a man was to come out and say, if a woman came out and said that her ex-partner was trying to unalive her and was abusive to her, would you want the kids with that man? You wouldn't. So we can't make a concession and be like, well, you know, because Tyler's the one we're trying to get, he's a deadbeat. It's much worse that he's a deadbeat than someone trying to unalive somebody who's got the kids. We're going to have to ask a serious question, right? That is if that's the truth, right? I'm only taking what Deshaun said and just saying, okay, if that is the truth. But now we have to ask serious questions, right? What would CPS say? Is it CPS? Are you guys calling it CPS? Child Protection Services? What would CPS say? Right? Would CPS be like, you know what? You know what? You know what? Yeah, it's cool. That's why I said this situation should have stayed. This situation should have stayed quiet. It should have been behind the scenes. She should have taken his ass to court, nailed him in court, and gone quietly. That's what should have happened. In this situation, Tyler is a deadbeat. Yes, it's proven because of what he said. By his own admission, his own mouth, he is a deadbeat. At least for the second one, the twins. You know what I'm saying to you? At least for the twins. Okay? Right? So the twins itself, right? He's a deadbeat for that, at least. So take his ass to court. You've got the receipts and nail him. Nail him. There's nothing else to it. Like, he deserves to get nailed. Do you see what I'm saying to you? He deserves to get nailed. Right? So my thing is, we've got a bigger issue now. We've got a bigger issue. You know? And so in this space, it's a problem with it for me personally. I just don't think you can ignore what Deshaun said now. If it's all about the kids, we can't ignore that. You know what I'm saying to you? We can't ignore that. And I know some of you are saying you can't conflate the two, but we do conflate the two. That's the whole point. We always conflate the two. If a man was to try to unalive his ex-partner, none of you would say that you'd want the kids with that particular man. And it's right. You are absolutely right to feel that way. If Tyler was trying to unalive Bri, you wouldn't want the kids with him. It doesn't matter whether she said, oh, no, Tyler's a great dad. He should still be the kids. No, Tyler's a great dad. We'll be looking at like, are you stupid or are you mad? How can you say that? So either Deshaun is lying, or she's not being truthful at all. She is telling the truth, but she's not thinking it through all the way through. Which is why she was fighting for full custody. So for me personally, I think there's more to discuss if we're going to really say it's all about the kids. Otherwise, I don't feel like it's all about the kids. I feel like it's some about the kids, but then it becomes about men versus women. And I'm not really invested. I'm not trying to be invested in a men versus women situation. And that's why for me personally, is that it's not always about the kids. That these conversations sometimes don't become about just the kids, because it goes beyond onto how people feel about a man or a woman. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But anyway, listen, I've broke down my particular piece full point, and I've said my piece, and I know I'm going to have a lot of pushback on this particular aspect and topic from many people, but when you take time and just really deep it, you'll see that you're going to have to follow the rabbit down the hole if you really want to be able to go that way. We already know that Tyler's a deadbeat, and we can't force someone to see their kids. So what you can do is you can put them on child support. And so he should go to court and they should nail him. Nothing else to it. You know what I'm saying to you? But yeah, this yeah, exactly. That's actually why Deshaun actually fought for full custody. And that's what I'm saying to you, that it doesn't matter whether Deshaun now comes out and says after, no, she's a great mother. No, because you were fighting for full custody. If you thought she was so great, why did you fight for full custody? Why didn't you fight for joint custody? Do you see what I'm saying to you? If she thought she was such a great mother, why didn't you fight for just joint custody? Why did you go for full custody? Political. But anyway, let me get some people on, as well. Let's get some people on, say their point of views. I'm gonna have to mute myself because I don't have my normal gear today, but we're good to hear people's point of view. Okay, I got John behind, Seaway behind. Yo, guys, what's good?
Jay here. I knew you was gonna be here, Jay.
Glad I was. Y'all can hear me, right? I'm on a headset, so I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, good.
Yo, it's good to have you guys and ladies on the panel as well. I know some people will join us a little bit after as well. I would love to hear each of you guys' perspective. It can be about an interview, it can be about anything that was said, your personal perspective. This is always a platform for you guys to share your thoughts as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me just set this right, because I don't like the way it's set up right now. But there we go. Okay, yes. So I'd love to hear you guys' perspective on this as well. Oh damn, sorry, I'm touching things and I shouldn't be touching things. I do apologize, guys. Hold on. Hey, I'm breaking the thing. Oh my god, doing this on your phone ain't no joke, you know. And now I press something. I don't know what I'm pressing. Oh jeez, have mercy, Lord. Oh my god, sorry, Lord. Guys, hold on. Okay, listen. I'm gonna drop off and drop back on, but whoever wants to go first, go for it, and we'll continue. I'm gonna drop off and drop back on. Go for it. I think Seaway, they want to hear you, so I don't know, Seaway, you want to go first? They've been waiting for you, Seaway, so I'll let you go first. Set the pace of the tone, babe.
You know what, guys? So behind the scenes, I've gone back and forth with Kojo about this, just so you guys know, okay? I've gone back and forth with Kojo about this. Didn't even want Kojo to come up here and say all of this, right? Because I wanted us to stay on topic, but I want to say something because Sean said something and it made me think about what Kojo is saying. I think everyone has to understand what everyone is coming from, and I believe there is a point that Kojo is making. When you say, Kojo, that it's not all about the kids, Sean made this point that this situation is also triggering people so bad because it is a constant reminder that men like Tyler have the option to walk away from their kids, disown their kids, shift all of the manual labor to women, and then just start over, right? And even people who have not been a product of that environment, and people who have, are very, very triggered. So is it also about the kids? Yeah, because a lot of people donated to Bree, and they want to make sure that she's set, but there's a lot of kids in need, right? So it's not just about the kids. But I think this situation is so bothersome because, unfortunately, and sorry guys, I'm getting over a head cold. Unfortunately, what Tyler is doing, which is normally not broadcasted on national TV, happens to so many women, and I think a lot of people are very, 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 very triggered by it. And I think that is the portion to me that I would say that it's not about the kids. What I will also say though is that I don't know the situation with the ex-wife and Bree and the abuse situation. And I don't like touching on it because I want to stay focused to what actually brought this to our TV to begin with. But I want to put it out there, and I don't think this is a controversial opinion. I've said this before. Both Bree and Tyler have showed multiple examples throughout this entire hoopla that they have not been the best people, and that them not being the best people have contributed to the downfall of these kids. However, I will always say that Bree is still hands-on and the only parent taking care of 3 kids that she did not make by herself. And I also can't tell her how to respond to someone who disgraces you and your kids on national TV. I can't tell you just take it to the courts. Maybe that could be an okay thing for you to do, right? But I can't tell nobody how to respond to a public disrespect. A public disrespect, you can respond however you want to respond. So I also want to say that, because I think a lot of people, you could take it to the courts. Well, he didn't take it to the courts. He took it to Netflix and called his kids donor babies. But with all that being said, that's just to respond to what Kojo said. I personally, I watched the interview with, I didn't watch the interview with Dear Future Wifey. I'll be live watching it with Jay tomorrow. But I did watch the live replay with Ricky and Jesse Wu and Dear Future Wifey. And I personally feel like he did an okay job, but he did the job that probably he had to do to get Tyler on his show. And I think at this point, we are expecting Tyler to be something that he's not going to be. Do I wish that Dear Future Wifey would have probably called him out more from what I'm hearing? I haven't watched it. Sure. But if he was going to call him out, just let us all know that he would have never been on that show. He would have never even gone on the show. So even if he had all the receipts, it really wouldn't matter. Anybody who believes right now that Tyler is anything less than a deadbeat bum, bad person, low-key sinister, who has some type of personality disorder, if you don't believe all of that by now, you're never going to believe it. It doesn't matter what Dear Future Wifey says or nothing. It doesn't matter. If you don't already think that right now, it doesn't matter what's said. So to me, at this point, it's a wrap. If you still think that this man has any redeemable characteristics, then you can't be helped anyway. It doesn't matter what was said on Dear Future Wifey podcast. And that's where I agree with him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I hope we can close the book on this. And I pray that those kids are taken care of. And that's all I got.
Okay. Can I piggyback off of you real quick? Since that's where I was going to start anyway. I was going to say it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I think Latarius did an awesome job, because one thing I know from being born to a biological, pathological liar, like, you got to let them talk. You got to give them room and space to just let them sink themselves. And so Latarius did a very good job of letting that man just talk in circles a lot of times, try to talk around the question and come back to the question. I was really glad that because trust me, I was frustrated when I was watching it live. I watched it live And I was frustrated at first where I was just like, he's not asking the questions. He's not pushing back as Tyler tries to deflect a lot of times, but he would circle back. He would let him talk, and then circle back to the question several times. Now, there are a few questions that he needed to circle back to, which was the making of the twins. I agree with you all on that part. He needed to circle back to that. But I feel like all that hate attack that is going on Latarius, why? He did what he needed to do to get Tyler to sit here and say what he needed to say. So for me, he did a very good job of getting Tyler to open up so we can hear all his lies come through. Now, we know everybody in this daggone little thing has a little lying problem. But everybody attacking Tyler, Tyler's a victim in every single story that he said. And again, like C-Way said already, it's not about the kids. He wants to sit here and tell us that we're not protecting the kids, that Brian not to protect the kids, that Sean not to protect the kids. But not one time in this whole interview that he did he protect them kids or those kids like he liked to call them. That family over there. That's not protecting any of them. By sitting here saying that I jump in and out of some kid's life, and if they want to decide that they want to meet me later on, that's not protecting them in any type of way. So Tyler's still going to be the bad guy in my book or whatever and stuff like that, because I come from a father who made sure all his kids knew each other, made sure that we were around each other and knew of each other, and that he loved us all the time, despite what went on with the mother of his children. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up in that type of family. All the women in my family, you birth children with me, you still got rights to them children. You still get to see them children, despite abuse, despite emotional abuse, neglect, whatever and stuff like that. As long as you wanted to see them children, you would still be able to see them children. He's willfully choosing not to be in these children's lives after being consistently there 4 to 5 times a week, regardless if he lived in an apartment or not, regardless if he lived in the house, you was choosing to be there. The fact that he want to skip around and talk about he don't know how the twins, they was magically conceived through immaculate conception or something like that, that they held on to the sperm for like 11 months or whatever, is like so puzzling to me. It's like, come on, just be admitted that y'all, like Bryce said, had a wild night, and it is what it is. Y'all had a few wild nights. So that I don't, but there is a piece in there in his interview that I do believe, because it was only one time in the whole interview that he actually gave a straight answer. He actually gave a straight answer. So it's like one part in there or whatever, but I'll get into it later. I'll let somebody else go.
Go ahead, Sean. Or you don't want to go?
Whoever wants to go can go next. Go for it. Who's ready to next go?
I'll go. I was trying to look up some numbers. I like to come with like supporting evidence. I was looking at Ricky's TikTok. I want to disagree that with what's his name, Latarius? What's his name? Who interviewed?
Yeah, Latarius.
I don't think that was a good interview. Because how can someone say, I saw 30% of what he said, I was in and out, I was pausing it, I was fast forwarding it. How can anybody be proud of their work if they are openly admitting that they didn't do the due diligence and they didn't do the work? And the things that he was asking multiple questions on were the parts that he got the 30% from. So if he would have got more than that, he would have pressed him on other things. I disagree with that. Also, I feel that it's not just me subjectively. It's not just about Tyler being a father. And this is maybe coming from me passionately being a father to children, but there are men listening to this. There are men listening to this. It's not just Tyler. It's about putting out the right message to people that we're not going to allow you to successfully thrive after disowning your freaking children. And when I was looking up numbers when you saw me down, I wanted Sean to go. It was because I wanted to show y'all, like, in the world that we live in, where we know all of this information, just how tiny we are. All this information that came from Storytime Ricky, she has 146,000 followers on TikTok. Jesse Wu has 250,000. You guys got to understand, like, we are very tiny. there are hundreds of millions of views coming from people who just only watch the show Love is Blind. The majority of the people do not know the information that we know. And they were right when they said that only certain people are they're not going to watch Jesse. They're not going to watch Ricky. They're not going to watch Kojo. They're going to watch the season, and some may go to seek out their interviews. And he kept saying that, like, well, you know, people are not stupid. They're going to figure out for themselves. With so many young black men, so many young black children on the line who can go from somebody leaving them like this, that ain't nothing that I want to personally leave up to chance. And I think that it can be successfully done, that you hold someone's feet to the fire. I thought it was brilliant how Latarius was trying to set up to say that I cheated. But he didn't go all the way when he said that I cheated to allow Tyler to feel comfortable that it's okay telling the truth. But I thought he was setting that up, not just so, you know, you can tell the truth, because a liar is still gonna lie. Is that you are now in a safe space. And when someone feeling in a safe space, they will allow you to ask the more stern questions they wouldn't allow somebody else to ask. So that's what I thought he was really, really setting up. And they're just things that, even if I never saw the information that came out online, that is clearly that this guy is lying about, that he could have asked in a more detailed fashion had he had all of the information. So I think that this was a miss when Jesse was able to was saying some of the positive comments that Tyler was getting. As somebody who cares about black fathers, especially in America, I thought that he would feel bad about that. These positive comments that are coming from Tyler that's lying on your show is from these misses, and you not getting the information. One of the most startling things that I saw from Netflix itself was when he was on Jesse Wu's channel, and he said that Netflix told him, you know, you can ask these certain questions, or, you know, you ain't got to do the interview because, you know, hopefully this will die down. It shocked me that Netflix said this will die down, because that told me everything that I need to know, that Netflix wants this to go away. Netflix don't care about him being a deadbeat dad. Even when the little portion where I'm taking up for Netflix and saying, like, you know, maybe they didn't know all of this information just because we went and looked at the Facebook. Maybe they don't go that deep. It wouldn't matter if they knew it or not. If they knew it, they're bad. If they didn't know it, by them saying maybe this will die down, they was gonna try to hide this. It's showing me that Netflix wants Ashley and Tyler to be the next Brett and Tiffany. They need this to go away, to throw them on a platform. And the day that Netflix throws them up on a platform and start pushing them around to the Netflix red food trucks and all the stuff that they do around here, you're spitting in the face of young children who've gone out here and suffering without having a dad in their life.
Yeah, I guess I kind of felt like everybody did. You know, I kind of took on a little bit of everyone's opinions in watching the interview, because I watched it earlier today from like start to finish. And my initial reaction was I was upset. I was angry. You know, I wanted you know, some accountability on Tyler's end. I wanted him to be called out and to answer for some of the things that we now know that he's been saying that are untrue. But then, you know, I had to kind of sit back and realize what's the likelihood of that happening. And we know exactly how these interviews are set up, and Jesse Wu was very, you know, frank about it, and so was Ricky, in terms of who certain interviews go to, and them actually asking him, you know, to interview. I think Ricky said she had asked, and I think Jesse also did it informally. But the likelihood if Lateris would have you know went after him with that line of questioning, it wouldn't have happened. And I think there's different people for different things. And as much as we want everybody to be everything, that's just not the way the world works. And I think we as a people also want this thing called public accountability. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't exist. And in my utopian heart, and when I look across the world in the landscape, there's things that I wish people would be held accountable for. It doesn't work out that way so many times. And so often, people dig in before they take away. People who want to believe somebody like Tyler and believe those things are true, there's nothing that would have been said. Everybody in the chat that's calling out Tyler for his lies, and rightfully so, you didn't need any more convincing. You already knew it. The people that didn't know it, there was nothing that anybody could say. And I hate to get political, but we saw it in our last election here in the United States. There were certain people that believed a certain thing, and no matter what that person said, right, wrong, indifferent, it didn't matter. And the same for on the other side. People rarely do 180-degree change. You know, would it have been nice? I agree, it would have been nice. But I don't think that we can just say he let him off the hook, because he asked him questions. He circled back to a couple of things. Now, am I saying he's perfect? He did nothing wrong? No, I'm not saying that. But I don't think, because now we're missing the message, because now we're going to attack Lateris, right? We're going to say he should have did this and he should have do that and we should have do that. And if I was there, everybody wants to be the Monday morning quarterback. But we didn't have the opportunity to interview Tyler. He did. So, hey, whatever he felt called to do and however he felt called or led to conduct that interview, that's what he did. And I think, I walked away feeling just as poorly as I did prior to about Tyler, and probably even worse. And I'll land my plane there.
When you say whatever he felt led to do, that's what he did, and we didn't have the opportunity, isn't that the reason we're on a podcast now? Like we're here now to talk about, we're literally here to talk about what happened. So I feel like that point is irrelevant. I also feel like when you say certain words like attack, like those are very strong words. I'm going to use him to show you that you can hold Tyler's feet to the fire without attacking. For instance, he doubled back and asked him again in a laughing, joking way. Come on, about the free calls. He is digging. He's not letting that go. And I like when he did that. I'm saying he did that with 30% knowledge of what happened in that situation. Imagine had he had 70% more. Could he not do the same way? There are different ways and strategies, especially with the rapport that he built with Tyler already, that he could have asked Tyler more things. For instance, could he not have said in that same joking way, come on, bro, you saying that they had your sperm in the freezer for 2 years, and they took them out the little ice cubes, and they went upstairs and thawed it out, even though that's physically impossible to get pregnant by. You really come like we're talking about a bag of nuances and a bag of range. Like, I don't think it's fair to say when we want him to ask him these questions that he should have done his research, that we're asking him to attack Tyler. We're asking him to do the same thing he did with the 30% information that he did on what he knew.
Yeah. But if he only has 30% information and he don't have the 70, what he gonna ask? He asked him for the 30. Now, he admitted on Jesse's channel that 70? He forgot to push. He admitted on Jesse's channel that he didn't push back. He forgot to push back or failed to push back several times on the kid situation. That's the part he knows. He don't know about the text message. He don't know about the email. He don't know about all that other stuff. So there's no conversation on that.
Yeah,
he did all he was going to do.
You say my point. He didn't.
Yeah, but you're coming at like Jesse and them at the same time, like you're telling somebody how to run their platform.
No, I'm not. I'm on a show. I'm on Little Black 90 Book 91, and we're supposed to talk about what we saw. It's like, why are we here if we can't talk about what we saw? We're here to just gloat, just say how great it was. We're here to discuss the things that we like and that we didn't like. That's literally why we're here. And you just made my point. You said,
but you're coming in saying that somebody's wrong based off of what you didn't like about it. That's not a point.
No, that's exactly why we're here. You're going to say when somebody's right based upon your subjective opinion. I'm going to say when somebody's right based upon my subjective opinion. I'm going to say when they're wrong based upon it. All we can do is make supporting statements to say why we feel the way we feel. So, yes, I'm supposed to say what I feel that I didn't like about it. Oh, why else are we here?
Yeah, but you're saying what you don't like about it, but you're calling out Sean saying he's wrong for how he felt about it. He's not wrong for how he felt about it.
No.
That doesn't make him wrong from what he's seen.
I didn't say that Sean is wrong for what he felt about. But how about we let Tyler debate Tyler? On that exact show, Tyler told the host that people are calling people on their platform and they're not holding their feet to the fire. Tyler said, why are you calling people on your platform and not holding their feet to the fire? So you don't have to listen to me. The host should have listened to Tyler. Tyler saying you should hold people to the feet to the fire.
Yeah, and I think this is hold on one second. I think like this is the major issue. And this is why I feel like it's a derailment to spend time talking about what Lateris did or didn't do. We should talk about, and that was my point, the substance of the interview and what were the missing points. And just the same way as John, when you addressed me, if I took it the wrong way, I could feel like you're attacking me. So when someone feels like they're being called out, or if someone's story is being challenged, and we all can see that Tyler created a narrative, he's not going to want that to be challenged, and it's going to be interpreted as an attack. Everybody wants to say, oh, no, there's a nice way you can do things. No, it's not when you're a liar. When you're a pathological liar, anybody that is coming against what you said is an attack, because now that forces you to derail from the narrative that you've created. So that's my point, is let's deal with Tyler. Let's deal with Tyler and what he did versus expend energy on what Lateris should or should not have done.
Let me say one thing really quickly, because I listened to your whole live, John, and I think you did a really good job, and I loved your passion. But I also think that this is like this situation expounds on how bloodthirsty we are for vengeance and holding people accountable and holding people's feet to the fire. Because on one end, John, I could understand and resonate with your passion, because how you were speaking about you stepping up as a father, I think that it definitely, seeing somebody like Tyler would strike your nerve, would definitely, irk you in a certain type of way. And I see where a majority of the watchers of Love is Blind, primarily being women, would be emboldened by this situation, because it's almost probably your greatest fear is that you end up having a child with somebody and they end up abandoning you, or for whatever reason that Tyler wants to say, whatever reason Brian wants to say, whatever, how these kids came to be, they end up not having a mother and a father, or two parents, or one person abandoned, whatever it may be. But I think this is a situation where everybody is so bloodthirsty that they're not like, we've gone past the kids at this point. We're just really trying to like continually beat a dead horse. And I think there's so many more gems that we can learn from this, in terms of like from, selecting a mate or a partner a lot more cautiously from the get-go. Like even from the inception of Bri and Deshaun, I think, picking Tyler, like, is that really, you know your friends better than anybody. Like, do you really want to have a child with them? We should probably do this the legal route rather than doing something like that. Also, continually working with Tyler after the fact. Like, I think that was a issue, just because I don't think also that shaming Tyler is going to fix anything. I was putting in the chat during your live, John, that at this point, I think maybe instead of shaming the man because it ain't working, maybe we should lead with a little bit more empathy and being a little bit more encouraging and speak life into the situation, more than just us being like, bro, where's the kids? Show up for your kids. It at this point, it's repetitive. And I think that if you take this in the real world, it'll never work. You're going to continue to have the same broken family epidemic that we do have. And I would just say, let's lean a little bit more into some compassion, because you never know, maybe down the road, a switch might flip, or he might get his life right with God actually, and not just use it and change his life for the better. But we never know.
Okay, I was really trying, but that's where I'm gonna have to get off the boat. I'm gonna have to get off the bus, and I'm gonna have to walk. Um,
I'm walking with you.
yeah, no. Leading leading with compassion for a deadbeat is actually how we get in this situation. The problem is that there's too many people that have compassion for these type of situations, and they don't have compassion for the women who are stuck by themselves raising these 3 kids. And actually there needs to be more shame brought back into society. And the reason why, as Sean said, we have the election that we have in America right now, and the people that we have literally the WWE founders about to lead the Department of Education, because we literally have no shame. There's no shame anymore. There's no shame. Everything is okay. Everything is just fine. What are we compassionate about? I want to know what are we compassionate for?
What I'm saying is we're living in a completely different day and age. In a completely different day and age where these get the Switch, go outside and pick your own Switch. These like berating and how we're talking to people, like they're not built like that. They don't have the same moral compass, ethics that our forefathers, my father, grandfathers had yesteryear. So what you're doing, what people are doing now is just saying, oh, let's just berate and shame them. And it's going to be like, nah, like, okay, let's say if we do shame them. We're going to have a situation where you got Ashley, who's already embarrassed and shamed. You going to let them 3 kids go into there? She's going to be a terrible stepmom. And you don't think Tyler is equipped to be a stepfather after probably having a ton of resentment, and that resentment turning into contempt for them kids? No, I'm saying you probably should lead with a little different medicine, because what we're doing now isn't working, and it's being repetitive and it's being replicated constantly. And you don't have the shame of yesteryear was a shotgun wedding. Oh, you got my daughter knocked up. I got the shotgun. I put the fear in your life, and you're going to make her an honest woman. And that's what it happens to be. But we don't have that anymore. So,
you know, when you leave with compassion, if he said at this point, hey, those are my kids. I really, didn't handle this correctly. And I want to put this behind me and try to step in and try to do the right thing. Then people have the opportunity to lead with compassion. The problem is he is currently in denial. He's lying and he's disowning his kids, and he's not financially paying for them. So at this point, there's nothing to be compassionate about. Personally, I don't feel like the shaming is working either. That's where me and you agree. At this point, they need to be cut off and they need to be excommunicated, and he needs to go to the courthouse as Kojo suggested, and he needs to pay for those kids. And if he wants to try to build a relationship, then that's where the compassion, the grace, the understanding has to come in. But at this juncture, he's not even at that stage. So he needs to be cut off from the he doesn't need to be platformed anymore. Because there's no need for me to critique Dear Future Wifey's podcast or anything like that. Because honestly, he doesn't need to be platformed to begin with. He doesn't need to be platformed. And I hope after today, him nor Ashley the Bird Brain will be platformed again. And I'll have compassion for her when she comes to her senses. But right now, she has marbles for brains. Now, when she doesn't and she figures it out and she says, look, I was tweaking. I was caught up in the matrix, then I'm sure a lot of us women will have some compassion for her as she comes to the light. But right now, she doesn't want to come to the light. She wants to be in the darkness. So I don't want to rail on her anymore. I don't want to rail on Tyler anymore. I want them to dip off into the abyss, but I want him to take them funds that he has and take care of those 3 children that have to eat.
Hey, I would like to say something that's very, very important to me. I want to apologize to Sean for making him feel like he was attacked. It's a lot of talking that goes on the internet. But if we really want to see things change, the best way to do it is lead by example. A lot of people got too much pride to do that. And if all of us start doing that, you make it become normal. And then we encourage other people to do it. It doesn't matter if it was by accident, if it was on purpose. I don't care what the reason. The last thing I want is somebody to feel attacked while I'm having a conversation with them. So I sincerely apologize to you. And I sincerely apologize to you, CJ, for what happened last time with me and you. You know what I'm saying? I think all y'all are great. Y'all got really, really good points. And I love talking and conversations. Yeah, that was me.
See, look, I'm a Sagittarius. I already forgot.
Yeah, but this is an opportunity.
Well, thanks for the apology.
Yeah.
I almost forgot.
but this leads to my point about something that Sean said, like, and also what he's saying, that like we, or you saying too, you don't feel like it's doing anything, and then Sean said that, you know, a liar gonna lie. I will hold a liar to the front stage in front of a bunch of people who he could influence. I will talk directly to him knowing that he's not going to change. But in the way that I talk to him, in the way that I break down his points, the way that I prove him wrong, I know that me standing firm on this, while not reaching him, is reaching all of these people behind him. We don't know who's watching us in the audience. I want these young black men on the fringes, or it sucks to say this out loud, but like they're really contemplating, should they be in their kid's life or not? They're really on the fringes, and if they see this man get away with it, it leads them away. And I do like what you said. You said that you watch my podcast, but you should know I'm giving Kojo much respect because I'm wild and way wilder than this on my channel. But like, it does come from the passion. And I also want to say one quick last thing to Sean. I brought up the host first because Tyler said so much wild, crazy things. When I'm on a panel with people as intelligent as you guys, we about to talk about Tyler nonstop. So I brought the host up first on that little thing to get that portion out of the way. It wasn't to focus on him. Tyler did a lot in this interview we're going to be talking about. That's all.
Yeah, no, definitely, John. I appreciate you. And listen, I didn't even take offense to what you said. I use that as an example, you know, just to say, as though people typically interpret things one way, and especially if we don't even have a relationship with those folks, when we are communicating information to them, especially information they don't want to hear, most often it gets interpreted by an attack. So, you know, that was my thing. I think it's going to be very difficult, you know, which is why it was so challenging for me to watch that interview with Tyler, because to me, although I'm no clinician, it seemed like there was some more deeper issues other than deadbeat going on. It looked to be pathological. It looked to me to be disassociative, the way that he was able to distance himself from children that he had spent time in their lives, you know? So for me, I don't think a 2-hour interview with Lateris is going to be able to unpack that, and for him to not do what he always does, which is tell mistruths. Because if anybody, and Jay, you mentioned it too, like if you've ever experienced somebody that is a pathological liar, the thing that they do best is convince themselves of the lies. So you can see them, fortunately, when you're outside of the fog and there's some distance between you and them. But unfortunately, they spend a lot of time convincing themselves of lies. And as great as it would have been in that 2 hours for us to see an inch of Tyler moving around, I just believe that it would happen. You know, hey, would it have been great to? 100%. I would have loved it. But I doubt it would happen, because there were instances when Lateris circled back to things, when Lateris asked him about the twins and how were those twins conceived. And he hemmed and hawed and stuttered and talked about the fact that they were a result of a donation that he gave, and he didn't know what they did with the tubes. That's all that people do when they are habitual liars, is make up other lies to cover the lies. Okay, so for those of us that are in the know, then we know that that is not even physically possible for him to do that, right? And then when he was asked the other time, when he hemmed and hawed and stuttered and made up stories and deflected, was when he asked her, when he asked him about the kids and what were those naturally conceived. And he said, oh, Bride would have to say that, right? She would have to say that. That's not answering the question. It's deflecting. And then he spent a whole lot of time talking about these receipts, talking about all the evidence that he had about other people that didn't include him. So it's sad. It saddened me to see someone sit up there and do that and talk that way. But I don't think it would be changed in 2 hours. I would love it You know, the utopian part of me would have loved to see him, you know, buckle down and be like, you know what, that's a good point, Lateris. But the likelihood of that happening is probably I'm more likely to walk outside and win the Powerball.
I ain't seen no receipts.
Yeah, he didn't show no receipts. And then on top of it, a lot of us is listening for the lies, or we're listening for the truth when it's sitting in front of us. Sometimes you don't have to listen, you have to see. Every time he was getting ready to lie, thinking of a lie or doing something, he either fidgets with his face or he fidgets with that ring on his hand. Then he starts rubbing his legs back and forth in different positions. Watch the whole interview. Don't just listen for him to tell or expect it to come into the truth. Like I told Seaway and Sean when they first was watching it, I said, go in it with no expectations. Literally watch the interview with no expectations, because if you're expecting him to tell the truth, you're going to be disappointed. If you're expecting him to lie, you're going to be greatly disappointed because he's going to lie more than you expected. So like, just watch it and just let Laterius do his thing, because one thing for sure that I really do know is that liars like to talk when you give them a space to feel safe or whatnot, and they'll talk in circles, but somewhere in the middle of that circle is the whole truth. And he told us literally everything we need to know. He, like Sean he's trying to disassociate himself from them kids. But every time he bring up the kids, it's triggering for him, because he knows that deep down inside, that little boy means something to him. Now, he might have separated himself from the twins on purpose, but that little boy means something to him. And it's hurting him on the inside. You wouldn't be fighting to be back into somebody's life who you claim keep pushing you out every time they get a girlfriend. You wouldn't be sitting on this platform, keep talking about how many times you didn't try to come back and you was there and all this stuff, just to say, I'm not there, I wasn't really there and all this stuff like that, if it didn't bother you, if you weren't hurt by it. So sometimes you got to listen to the things that are not being said, the things that are being deflected on and all this stuff like that, and you'll get your answers, your truth out of it, all this stuff. He told us everything we needed to know in that interview. And I told y'all before, I've been waiting to hear this. Most of y'all didn't want to hear him because he couldn't say nothing else to you. Y'all mad at Laterius not doing anything else. Why? Because he can't say nothing else to you. Why are y'all mad at Laterius?
Yo, y'all be saying some extreme things. We angry. We mad at Laterius. Listen,
it's true though.
A man admitted out of his own mouth. Laterius admitted, I'm busy. I'm on the run. I'm in Costco. I'm flying. I'm signing book deals. And all right, all that to me is showing why you didn't do the research. A man admitted he saw 30% of something and proceeded with an interview. I don't even need to say nothing else. What is wrong with me pointing out like you could have had more information? If this is what you asked, and I'm like, I like a lot of what he did. And I don't even want to keep talking about the host. I want to talk about Tyler and the crazy things he said, but y'all keep bringing it back. Why are we getting these? We're mad at him. All these outrageous words when a man admitted he only researched.
My point was not about Laterius. My point is about actually watching the interview period for yourself and listening and like not having a biased opinion when you're listening to it in the first place.
All I'm saying is perfectly
That's
normal.
why sometimes it's good to have. I'm not saying you can't critique Laterius and stuff like that, but I'm saying sometimes it's better when you have an interviewer that don't know that much because they're coming in with their bias. Sometimes, and they're staging it. That's kind of like Ricky and Jesse. Ricky and Jesse have their bias. So they come in with a certain particular thing. They ignored Bri and the abuse that she had on her partner and all this stuff like that. They never once asked her any of those questions because their whole agenda was to go at Tyler, which, yes, we should be going at Tyler because he signed up for the show. But there's still so much in that needed to be unpacked that would have gave us so much more to what Tyler had going on as well.
Yeah, all that another subject. I'm just saying, I don't even think about Love is Blind at this point. I'm thinking about Diane Walters. I'm thinking about all the greatest people. If they would have came out and said, I did 30% research, we would be holding their feet to the fire. I don't know why.
But that's not who Laterius is, though, John. That's not who he is.
Well, can I respond to that? The interesting thing about this conversation that I learned from him popping up on Ricky and Jesse Wu's podcast was that he says that he doesn't do research on any of his guests, which I don't know if that's true. I mean, I never found him to be a liar, but I thought that was very interesting that he doesn't do pre-research on any of his guests. I guess that's his interview style. He said that he's decided to do research on this guest because he kind of peeped game that this was kind of like a cleanup mission. and that this was something outside of his realm, and from the stuff that he heard, you know, this wasn't one of those interviews that he could do the same way. So with that being said, do I wish that maybe he did the full research based on the fact that he was going to kind of go a different way, diverge from his normal interview style? Yes. Do I think it would have helped equip him to do his style of interviewing, his, I would say, tweaked style of interviewing better? Yes. Do I think he still did an okay job with what he did? Yes. I mean, I don't think it has to be so polarizing. Could he have done better? Yes. I think even he said he could have done better. I don't think that's a hot take. He said he could have done better. Especially because he knew that he was going outside of his realm, and he willingly went outside of his realm to take an interview in a subject matter that he was unfamiliar with.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. See what was I was like, what's crazy is I agree with you. It's like he didn't do a bad job. If you watch what my live on this right here, I point out in detail the things he did good. I don't think he did a bad job. I think I point out that he went back even before he went on Jesse Wu. I did mine before he went on Jesse Wu. So I timestamp. I'm saying he keep asking the same questions. He's digging in. I think it's coming across as if he did a horrible job if I point out something that's normal. A guy did 30% or something. Like, that's crazy to me. But that don't mean that I think he did a bad job.
I think it's just how people are magnifying it. I think that if you go to his comments and you see tomato, 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 and everybody's like this, and you're not asking the right questions, and you should have. I think that it gets repetitive. And again, I'm going back to the idea that everybody just wants violence. They just want to see this thing happen, and they want to see Tyler pay. And everybody's hurt, whether you're a father who stepped up when you didn't have all the resources to have it all together, or you're a mother who got left and abandoned, or you thought you knew somebody and you didn't. This strikes a chord for everybody. We can get into Tyler's situation. I disagree a little bit. I think he was being a little bit more truthful. I'll say like 40% truthful. I think that the point he started lying, and what I was picking up on, his lies were as soon as the kids got going, because I think his plan is that he's trying to go into court, although it's probably not going to, it's a very weak argument, was that the kids were conceived while they were married, and that basically all these the kids were a donation, and he has the text messages. He might have a text message thanking him for the donation. That's what it looked like. He said that's going to be his grand master plan, and it's going to fail horribly. He's going to be hit with child support, and everybody's going to be, yay, he's on child support. Yeah, yes. But before then, I think that, again, I don't think he was as involved as what we like to think, or what the pictures we want to embellish a little bit. I will say that, but we'll save that for the later portion of the conversations.
Well, they said he was in and out. So they said he was in and out, and she admitted that he was in and out.
That man has 7 evictions.
Easton, he's in, first of all, nobody is in hospital gowns and masks unless you are in the delivery room and stuff. He was in the delivery room with the twins, and he sat on that platform and lied about it. Okay. Yep. When you're visiting people, you come in your regular clothes because it's a day or two after the baby is born. But when you're in the delivery room, you're in scrubs. He's fully in scrubs with a cap on his head. And he sat on that platform and said, I wasn't there for those babies. I wasn't this and that or whatever and stuff. So I agree with you. There's some parts that he is telling the truth, but he did a whole lot of lying.
I just said he lied once he got to the twin. I'm telling you. I am all with y'all.
He lied. And he lied about God.
I just want to understand, because you said there was times when he was telling the truth. When was it? What was he telling the truth about?
I think that the amount that he was involved prior to that, I think that was him telling the truth. Because it's a conflicting story. If you listen to Ricky and Jesse, all the receipts and stuff like that, and how they frame it makes it seem like he's like there 24/7 in the beginning from the son on. And from my vantage point, I'm like, no, he probably was in and out because again, Bry's message says, "Don't do this to me again." So that means you did it again before, and I'm sure you probably did multiple times since you've been evicted 7 times. So, like, I don't think that he was nearly as involved. I think that it was a little bit mixture and a little bit more embellishing than we like to give it to credence to. Regardless, he's still a deadbeat. Everybody knows this, but
out of his own mouth, he said he was there 4 to 5 times a week with the boy, and 3 to 4 times with the girls arrived. So that's a lot out of a week.
For 6 months.
That's over 60%. Like,
and
it can't be for 6 months because you're there the whole time. You're living in the apartment while the boy is around. From the time of conception to the boy is born, you're living in the same apartment with them. When Bry has the twins, now you're living in a house with them. He did not sit here and deny any of this or whatever. Of course, Latarius probably don't know any of that part. He said he didn't know, but still.
Hold on. Aren't the twins a year younger than the son, right?
Like a year and a half, I think.
Yeah, so it makes sense. It makes sense that okay, he's and also when she's like the 9 months while she's with carrying the son, then she left afterwards. Deshaun did. She left afterwards. Then whatever they were doing, they were still married. She came back. She still wasn't involved during the twins. Tyler was probably involved with the twins, but in homeless. She
was never back. The wife was never back. She was the chore. The it was over. They were divorced.
But 1 second before we even go down this rabbit hole of the timing of how much he was in the lives. Like, Easton, do you think it matters? Is that what the crux of this is all about? Is it how much Tyler was in and out of these kids' lives? Is that a linchpin of this? Like,
for me, because we're getting really big on semantics. Like at this point, again, we're talking about Tyler's a deadbeat. Cool, we got that. He's going to go to get child support. So I'm saying the specifics. Everybody's like, how could he just leave the kids? And this, and I'm like, I think it's very easily for somebody like Tyler, who's probably already compartmentalized something like this, because for him, it's like I wasn't already in there. Like I wasn't involved too much from the get-go. I did help provide in some aspects here and there, but again, this man was evicted 7 times from the span of the child being born to him getting on Love is Blind, and he was living with Bri right before he got on the show. So this means that he has a history of doing this, and based off of all the other interviews with Paige, the girl that he owed $8,000 or $10,000 to, he had a place, and it wasn't. And she said for the year that she dated him, that she had no inclination. It didn't seem like he had kids or anything like that. So to me, that always it alerts red flags in my head.
I just think that yes, are there in some inconsistencies about whether he was in or out of the children's lives. And the place where I wanted you to go was to understand that the big picture is that this man had kids with her, however untraditional or traditional. His name is on the birth certificate, and he calls them those kids. He already is in arrears to the tune of $30,000 in child support that's already documented, that he already owes, in addition to what he owes going forward. And he still is trying to convince the world that these aren't his kids. That's like the biggest picture here. And that is the part that is grinding most of the people's gears. It's not about whether he was with her for 6 months or 1 month or 1 year or 2 years. People can process that. That happens in relationships. People go in and out. But what we can't process is someone trying to tell us they're peeing on us and telling us it's raining outside. And that's what Tyler essentially has done and continues to do.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I just think that the end result is him being held accountable, which he will be. So I was just like, okay, well, if we're talking about if we're just trying to paint this broad brush of okay, he has kids, he needs to be responsible for them. Cool. I'm all in agreement of that. But I'm also thinking that there's a lot of semantics, because it's just to me, this seems like, I'm not going to say the actual word, but trauma porn. And it's okay, well, everybody is trying to amalgamate their experience with this experience. Tyler just ends up vanishing out on these kids. And it's no, much like everybody's circumstances in real life, there's a lot of gray area and nuances and things that are that aren't so easy and very sticky. And I'm saying with Tyler, I think that this comes from a situation where you have a very broken man, and we're trying to. Again, this is I love this season so much because it's so much like real life. We have a very broken man, and you can see the destruction that a bad situation could put him on, and how he's effectively 5 or 6 or 7 women. And again, this is a magnifying glass, much like real life, where it's maybe one bad guy, one bad egg, and it spoils the bunch. And with Tyler, it's just a tale as old as time. It's like, as much he's going to be held accountable. We get that. But on the flip side, if we're looking at the big picture, we got to also be super mindful of, like, you have to be just as thoughtful about who you're sleeping down with, who you're procreating with. And again, because Tyler's going to be held accountable, we know this, but again, we're going to miss all this because we're so hard on holding his feet to the fire and crucifying him. I get it.
We're going to miss all what? I'm trying to see like your end goal. You said we're going to miss all this because Tyler. What are we going to miss?
What's the lesson you want us to learn, Ethan?
Yeah.
Let us know.
The lesson I want to learn is that on both sides at this point in day and age, that it's not gonna be, there's like, I think maybe because I have older parents, that there's a natural onus that it's like, okay, the guy, you have kids, you just got to step up and do what you got to do. And I'm saying now, and that's true. I also think now you're in a day and age where you have these moments and these blips in life, and it don't matter how much shaming, how much guilt, whatever you're going to do, it's not going to change anything. So we also have to be equally as aggressive on, hey, we got to be mindful of the people that we're sleeping with, procreating with, even allowing them into our lives and our energies. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is just say, Tyler, kill him. He's the baddest. He's a deadbeat, and nothing's ever going to change, because everybody, it's the same thing. It's like what I was saying with Marissa. Everybody's going to be so hard on Ramses that they're going to miss out, that they're more likely to be more Marissas than there are going to be of Ramses. The same way with Tyler. Everybody's going to be so hard on for Tyler that you're not going to realize that there's one Tyler, and he's effectively destroying 7 women. So that's my big point.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the most craziest thing you ever seen in 7 seasons of Love is Blind?
Being that I know SK, that was a wild situation. Went to Baylor. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I've watched every single season, so I would say I've seen it all.
What's the worst? What's the worst?
I ain't gonna lie. I would probably say the SK situation, because the type of women that he ended up cheating on Raven with, and to me, I think that was a very
SK's worse than abandoning kids. Easton, please.
No, are you talking about in these 7 seasons?
Thank you, Seaway.
I'm saying obviously Tyler's situation is the worst, but I'm saying
so like, can you understand? But all right, cool, easy. We're not talking about like right or wrong. We're talking about reality, probability, something that polarizing, that's shocking to leave your kids. Can you understand why people would be caught up on something that big? You have just admitted this is the most polarizing, shocking thing you've seen in 7 seasons of this show. I'll even go further. Have you seen anything on any reality TV worse than this on any show?
No, I haven't.
I mean, there's been like assaults and
Love is Blind Brazil season 3.
Yeah. I mean, there's those, and I think that those are. I'm not gonna, invalidate victims of that stuff too. So
yeah.
I get what you're saying. I know that everybody this is the most polarizing situation in general, but I come with the lens of like, we get so caught up in these big macro things that we miss out on the more common things that we can fix. Tyler was one guy who effectively has, I guess, the super soldier serum for sperm, because they could be frozen and they could thaw it out and it could impregnate Bride, and then she ended up wanting to have multiple kids with them. Like, he gotta have he's Tyler. Like I was telling Kojo and everybody, like, Tyler's the prototypical person who I don't think like I knew something was up with Tyler when he hopped on the show. Like somebody like Tyler with motion don't need to hop on the show like that. I'm just saying that Tyler is one mega issue, and you can shame him, but it's not gonna fix anything.
Just put a pin in that for 1 second, right? So let's say you have at your house a problem with insects, right? You got a whole bunch of spiders.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to catch those spiders?
Put out bug traps. You spray
You're going to put out bug traps, right? And bug traps are designed to do what?
Catch the bugs.
Catch how many? One?
Multiple.
So the quickest way to a solution, or the most effective solution, is the one that gets to the root cause that impacts the most people. So yes, we should focus on people like Tyler because he impacts multiple people. If we start focusing on those 20 other people, now we've only fixed 20 different individual people. But if we stop Tyler, we can help him from hurting 20 other plus people. So I think that's why we laser in and focus on people like Tyler, because they are the root cause of a lot of the issues that happen when it comes to deadbeats and broken homes, because the fathers are the ones that are leaving, and men have the capacity to impact multiple women, where a woman can only be pregnant at once at a time, where men can impact multiple women. So that's why we need to laser in on guys like Tyler. Yes, I do agree. The approach does need to be different and tailored to that person, because everybody's not going to receive it. But we can't just pretend and leave them alone and start focusing on women when it's actually men like Tyler that are the root cause of the issue.
No, I'm all in agreement of that, but I'm just saying, and again, I'm probably wrong, so the chat's gonna be like, Easton's wrong. What I'm saying is that if you have a situation, I don't operate in this life of this, like the standard deviation of risk is like, there's always gonna be bad. There's always gonna be a Tyler. It doesn't matter what you do in this world. There's always going to be a Tyler. It doesn't matter how much therapy, how much healing, how much medicine, sound, anything you do. There's always going to be a Tyler. So in my vantage point, if there's always going to be a threat of that, I'll call Tyler. He's a Thanos level threat, and in my mind, I think that you should probably handle and keep people more aware of, like, hey, if you involve yourself with somebody like him, if you're not mindful about the type of person that you're entering into your life with and stuff like that, and it could end up being bad. I always think that there's somebody bad like Tyler around, and that maybe that's just me, but
I don't understand what you're saying.
He's basically saying he's doing the thing that we always do when they say choose better. Easton is basically saying choose better, which is all that everyone does on all of these platforms. When we see a villain like Tyler, who's a movie deadbeat, all we do is tell women to choose better. I mean, all we gotta do is say choose better. Easton, you could have said all of that and just said choose better. That's what you're saying.
No, I generally, it's not necessarily just a choose better situation. It's just that if we're all saying that Tyler is a threat and he's going to be held accountable, cool. That's what child support is for. Bing, bang, bong. We're done with that. But I'm saying it still doesn't fix that he's affected all these different people.
But I feel like you're contradicting yourself, because you just made the point I was going to make against you. You just debated yourself. You said that Tyler's just one guy. He's just one. And I was going to come back and be like, do you know the joke that they say about black men, that we're not in our kids' lives?
Yeah, but the statistics don't black cooperate with that.
But you just said that though. You just said like right before she spoke, you just said like Tyler's common. But your initial point was it's just one guy. It's not big of a deal. He's just one thing. And I was like, he's not. And what he represents. You ever thought a girl was gonna cheat on you, and then you found out that she cheated on you? Like, you got that confirmation. When the host of the show went on Jesse Wu, and he said Netflix told him, like, hopefully this will die down. That was my confirmation of my fear. My fear is that they want to push this nigga. They want to push somebody this despicable, this horrific, that could just shun his kids off like this. My fear came true tonight. The worst thing I heard tonight was Netflix telling them that it will die down. So you want us to brush past all of this right here, let him go up on platforms because he's going to get child support taken out on him, and let him and Ashley be paraded around like the black couple like that we need to aspire to be?
No.
Yeah, and I actually think this is positive. And then I need to answer one question I've got asked 5 times in the chat. I actually think this is positive. The fact that, to John's point, that this was rejected by our community, this was rejected by the watchers, and that we have literally said that this type of behavior and display is not acceptable on our TV. All I've said is that at this point, you're trying to get something out of Tyler that he doesn't have to give is a futile exercise because he doesn't have it. There's something wrong with him. He's not a good person. I think he has a disassociation issue, and I don't know how that's going to be fixed without intense therapy. And it's definitely not going to be fixed on the internet, on a podcast, or nothing. So I'm glad that the internet responded to this horrendous display and said that this is not the way that you treat your kids. This is not acceptable behavior. We're not going to celebrate this relationship. And you guys need to go and sit down. If y'all want to be happy away from us, and you will not be supported. To answer Deanna's question that she's asked me multiple times, if you have a kid within a marriage, oftentimes the presumption is that that is your kid, unless someone signs the birth certificate, unless there's been an adjudication via child support, via a paternity action, that is your kid. Tyler has not only fought for the custody in court of the first child, he was presumed the parent when he signed the birth certificate of the twins, and he's been adjudicated the parent when he was put on child support. So there's no need to do mathematics and month counting or whatever. He's presumed the parent. He is the parent. He's on child support. He owes money, and he's a bum. So that's it.
You know what's crazy, C-Way, is that, like, when you say that, like, the disassociation that he has, what are the astronomical odds? Ashley is his soulmate. He literally found the perfect person for him because she has the same thing. The way she shunned her brother away when he found out on Ancestry that's his sister, like, I got people, I'm like, get the hell on.
And y'all want her to be
he found the most perfect woman for him in this situation, which makes it double diabolical.
Yeah, and I think she's doing very similar things. I'm glad that you pointed out what she did with her brother. She seems to lean into that. And then I think she's also, the more that, people are trying to expose how bad the situation is, the more she's leaning into Tyler. I don't think she's at the level of Tyler, because that's evident because she hasn't gone through her entire life destroying families and owing people money. But I do think there will be a point in time where she's going to wake up and not want to be associated with this mess. I think she's going to realize that Tyler being in her life has brought her way more harm than it's ever going to bring her good. But by the time she realizes that, you've already laid down with this, and it's going to be too late. For most people, you're always redeemable to somebody. But she's going to have to also own her part in the things that she's done in the public to harm innocent kids by the words that she has allowed come out of her mouth as it relates to innocent kids. And that's going to be something that she's going to have to live with.
And she has to also know, when People's Magazine or whoever posts a photo of Tyler and Ashley and their newborn baby, there's going to be something in the back of her mind that's going to know he has the capability of leaving my son that I'm holding right here the same way he did his other children.
Yeah, unfortunately, and again, I'm nobody's clinician, but I've seen enough of these stories play out, whether in real life or, as an observer. It's not always that black and white. People they believe in delusion, and I'm not saying she shouldn't be accountable. She shouldn't have been the spokesperson for Tyler and talking on the situation, which really has nothing to do with her, only by proxy, because she's now Tyler's wife. So I can give her a little bit of grace. But what I will say is that most often, in order for her to stay in this situation, she convinces herself that of what she's being told is true. So the lies that are being told to her are ones that she believes. And that's how when people are kidnapped or there's crimes, people get Stockholm syndrome. And that's because after a certain while, you want to believe it. You want to be part of it, you know, underneath it all. And it takes a lot of deep work, but underneath it all, she does know the truth, but she doesn't want to know it. That's how she keeps moving on. That's why she doubles down. That's why she keeps telling herself and everybody else a different story. Because if she tells herself the truth, then her whole world will shatter. So that's why she's defensive. That's why she says we don't know, because we're acting like we've never been married before. So all those are signs of somebody that is painfully holding on to create a narrative. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Can we just take some time to just pretend a lie is the truth? Because it's funny to me. Bri was pregnant and found somebody that wants to be with her while she's pregnant with twins. And this person loved Bri so much. And Bri told her about the father of these children in her belly that don't want to be in the kid's life. And this partner that's going to come in Bri's life while she's pregnant said, I got a great idea. Comes in 3 parts. How about the guy you was telling me about who don't want to be in the kid's life, who I'm going to take care of these kids before they even arrive? How about he cut their umbilical cord when they're born? No, I got something even better. How about we name one of the children after him? This is the most insane thing that I've ever heard in my life. He cut the umbilical cord. One of the kids is named after him. And he wants us to believe that this story is true. That's what he said on the show.
Well, Nancy McMahon is the Secretary of Education, about to be. So I mean, and Dr. Oz is about to run something, so anything's possible. None of these stories is that crazy. Dr. Oz. Y'all acting like we ain't living in the craziest of times. Tyler just trying to do what everybody else doing at this point. He said, y'all believe in all this mess. Let me add my mess to it. Why don't I? That's all that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I think, listen, this is where I will lean into what Easton was saying and hold space and grace, because I think we have the luxury and the privilege of having a bird's eye view of the Ashley and Tyler situation and getting facts and information at a different pace than what the person is in it. Because if this was so outlandish, this situation wouldn't be that uncommon. You know, it's not that uncommon. And unfortunately, people get into scenarios like this because they're willing to believe the lie, because they're willing to believe the delusion. So I think as much as we need to be honest about the information that we're receiving, we also can't be so pious to think that, oh, it could never be me, because it has been us sometimes. And we all have been lied to. We all, have had situations that haven't turned out the way we wanted them to. So I think that's the part where we can lean into a little grace, and we don't have to be coming at her sideways in her comments. Like, I think us talking about this tonight is not what I'm saying, but I think people going at her in her comments, saying hella wild things, I think that's where we need to reel back and say, hey, listen, I've been there. How about that? You get a little bit more. And that's where I kind of was leaning in with Lateris, and finally got to a point where I could understand his point, is because you get people's buy-in more, you get a behavior shift and a change more when you're not attacking them, when you're not coming at them with everything that you think to be true, because you feel like you have all the facts. I think it's always best to lean in. Yes, we have our commentary 100% and we call things out, but when we just go at a person very directly, it doesn't work that way. You're not going to change somebody's mind in that manner. So I think that's where I'm saying, yeah, we just probably need to kind of reassess.
I know how to separate myself from what's going to happen with millions of people. I know how to live in reality instead of the right and the wrong. If Ashley was a wife who is coming on a platform and just saying her story that she believes from her husband, and then going back and just posting funny TikTok videos, I would agree with your point, Sean. But when Ashley is firing back these TikTok journalists, I can tell some of y'all not married. Ashley is making it a point to be antagonistic. And while there are intelligent people like you who can understand, I see what she's going through. She believes it's true. We've all been stupid at some time. We talk about a pot of tens of millions of people. When you do that, people are going to clap back at you. They're clapping back at Ashley because Ashley has made it a war in her head, her versus the internet. I can lay back. I ain't never in my life typed on Ashley shit. You can lay back, but you can't expect millions of people. They're going to clap back at her. Like, would you want, like, the information you give your children, you don't give them, like, you're not going to set your children up for, like, how the world exists? If you go on the number one reality show on Netflix, and you're involved in all this conflict and drama, and then the audience sees it, and you start coming out and clapping back at this audience, I'm going to tell my children they're going to clap back at your ass. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I'm sorry. As long as Ashley is acting as an agent for Tyler's lies, and as long as she's coming at unmarried women and saying that, you know, whatever, and I understand, because I understand that she is acting out of a place of hurt and defensiveness, but as long as she continues to act the way she's acting on the internet, she's going to get she's going to get that work from the trolls. Again, I don't hop in people's comments, but if I was Ashley, I would do like I've been saying. It's about the 10th time I said it. Her and Tyler need to disappear off of the internet, go deal with them court cases, and then deal with their marriage internally. And that's what I would suggest, because people feel like she is the face of deadbeatism. And as long as that, every single time her face pops up on our screen, somebody gonna have something nasty to say. I'm not defending it, but I ain't saying don't do it either. Because to me, I know I just had to block her. Because to me, she just reminds me she's the face to me of Deadbeat USA, her and her raggedy husband. And to me, that type of that stuff makes me sick. And so I know, you know, instead of just worried about your own self-control, sometimes you gotta block people. So she's blocked.
Brian the Orange Shirt is a direct response of Ashley's interview on Nick Vial's show. Like Bri, Storytime Ricky said tonight, Bri sending her all kind of screenshots as a direct result of Tyler going on the show he went on to today. People are going to respond. That's the world that we live in, and you got to accept that. Also want to add in that Tyler admitted he didn't do any research at all. Who the hell goes on the number one reality television show and don't do any research? I like that he said that, because it explained to me how idiotic he could think that he could lie like that. How both of them think that they can lie when they have on the gray jogging suits and set up that whole fake scene. It's because Ashley only saw 2 episodes of the show. She didn't do any further research, and Tyler didn't do any research at all, and they both went on the show.
I don't believe him either. I don't believe that. I think that's another lie.
Clay probably told him to hop on that show, try to revamp your image.
And that shows you that he's actually not very smart, because if you know you have 7 evictions and all this stuff in your closet, that's how you know that he's not the brightest crayon in the box. Because why would you even go on Love is Blind? You're the last person who needs to go on Love is Blind.
Yeah, it would help him if he's telling the truth. If he lying, he dumb. You know what I'm saying? If he lying, you stupid. Like, why would you?
They say he did that because he was homeless.
He was.
But you only get $7,000. Was that
No, but he needed a place. But no,
he needed a place to stay. And then he was tired of staying with Bri.
Then he found a woman. Yeah, he went from the shared apartment to a woman's apartment.
Look, my boy was always looking for the finer things in life, and he was just making his steps
on the backs of women.
On the backs of women.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, in Easton, if you did want to make a point, I mean, I hate to do the you should have picked better, but I do think that, unfortunately, and I hate saying this because people think I'm a Debbie Downer, but
do it.
People think I'm a Debbie Downer, but I say this all the time. if you're seeing a man that looks like Tyler, even though he looks gross to me at this point, but if you see a man that looks like Tyler who's in his early to mid 30s and he allegedly doesn't have any kids, any baggage, no nothing, and he's allegedly successful, I'm not saying you didn't find a unicorn, but what I'm saying is I need you to look very, 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 very closely. I think a lot of women think that they find these unicorns and they think they're the one. And unfortunately, you're not the one, and you may not be the two.
Or the three.
Or the
Here
three.
we go, C-Way.
And a lot of these men who look like Tyler with the credentials he said he had, a good job, no kids, cute. I think he over 6 feet. Allegedly, he had
Serbian.
Yeah, he had a little mix to him too, and I know Ashley wanted that because of the self-hatred of it all. If you think he had all of that and he came unattached, again, I'm not saying that you didn't find a unicorn, but what I'm saying is that you need to do a check, maybe 2, maybe 3. And that would help. Also, if he has a history of abusing women, if he owe women money, if he has all of these strange stories on how he left this woman to that woman, you may need to look into that too. I'm just saying, if it don't add up, it don't add up. And that's the best way. And then if he over here talk about what his ex did and a whole bunch of people going to have bad things to say about him, to me, if a man told me that I just met that a whole bunch of people are going to have not so good things to say about him, I probably would have had one foot out the door, because if a whole bunch of people got not so good things to say about you, that may mean that I may not have nothing good to say about you. So those are just some things that we can, kind of look into. But it's unfortunate. I want to say this and I'll wrap it up. It's unfortunate that Black women in particular have to date around a minefield just to find happiness. That's actually the sad part. The fact that I have to give that disclaimer. We shouldn't have to be dating around a minefield. But that's where we're at. That's where people are at. I guess I'm married.
And Ashley said accountability for dating that deadbeat. I'm so sorry, guys. We can't do. Ashley needs to take accountability. It's not a Black woman thing. If you end up choosing this man, we have to. That's why you hold. So we should make this a Black woman in a minefield situation. The information was presented to her, and she chose what she chose. So if you get presented with information, you need to be discerning. Like, you don't have Ashley have no excuse. Like, she needs to be discerning, because this was presented to you at the time. And yes, I believe it was manipulation. Yes, I believe that he intentionally chose that time to give her that information at that particular time. And yes, I do believe that it was a con job that he did, right? I actually believe that. He's a manipulator, a gaslighter. He is a diabolical liar, okay? And the interview with DFW proves it. But we can't make this into a Black woman situation, because she had all the options at the table to go, let me stop and let me see what I go on with the team. And she even now has all the information and still said, let me see what I go on with the team. You know what I'm saying to you? So I don't feel like we can make this a hero stance for Black women in a community and how they're dating. This is her situation that she has done. Whilst I do believe that Black women do suffer in the dating field, there are Black men that do crazy stuff. I'm gonna take a book out of my boy, my boy out here, Easton, when he says, "Listen, the man is Serbian." Okay, but in all jokes aside, she has chosen this path. We are no longer in the place where we're saying, Ashley, poor Ashley. Ashley has as much information as we do now after a year and a bit, and she has decided to stick with that man. At this point, she is not in the gravy train of Black women were supporting to help get out of the situation because you didn't know nothing about it, you've been conned. Now at this point, sis, this is you, and you gotta hold that out.
Did you think I said that, or you're just saying that in general? Because
I'm just saying that in general. I'm just saying that as a general perspective in that place. Also, just to add as well, I love everybody's point of view. It's different points of view, and I think this conversation is really important because it has different angles that people are going to come at it, right? Like, I love John's perspective in terms of how he was speaking about for men need to be held accountable, you know, being a deadbeat. I love that angle too. I love Easton's perspective because I understand where you're coming from too, where you're talking about we need to look at the greater picture. I love the fact that Jay and Seaway and Sean have come with a nuanced perspective in terms of let's stick to the task, let's stick to the problem, let's stick to what we're dealing with. I think it all encompasses, it's all needed conversation. I don't think anybody's necessarily wrong here. It's the angles that people are willing to look at the situation, right? Because the reason why we're in a situation is because both people are unaccountable. That's the reason why we're here. Like the reality of the situation is we are in a situation where both are unaccountable. And if it's about the kids, like I said in the very beginning, if it's about the kids, we've got a bigger picture to fry. Let's fry Tyler now. Let's fry him up. But whilst you're frying him, we're going to have to ask some serious questions because I don't care what nobody says. No one can tell me anything. If you tell me that someone's an abuser and they are also somebody who is trying to unalive another partner, then it's about the kids. Then I have to ask serious questions about that particular parent. I don't care if she stayed around because there are abusers who stay around their kids. There are people that stay with their kids and do horrible things. So I don't want to make it into that situation. But that's not for today. The main thing we've got to do is let's fry Tyler and let's cook him well on 180, maybe 250 degrees. Let's turn up the thing a little bit. You know what I'm saying to you? I am with you and saying that he needs to be held accountable. And I think watching him on the interview was a perfect example of somebody who's a liar and a gaslighter because, that's the only part I wish that DFW would have had. He could have been more of a trade-off because had he had I don't think even if he had all the facts, he would have done it. That is not his style. But I would have wanted to see him trade with Tyler a little bit more. That's how I would have done it, but that doesn't mean that's the way he has to do it. But it would have been nice to see the trade-off because the things that he said can actually be proven to be right or wrong, right? Like I said, once he said he never went to the baby shower, Negro, if they find a picture, then yeah, you in trouble, bro. And if they find the ex-fiance and she said she was there, yeah, you in trouble, bro. Like he said defining statements. So in that space, honestly, he's cornered himself. So now, really and truly, we can turn up the heat even more on Tyler because of the fact that he said some of these things as well. So for me personally, I don't want to let him off the hook at all. I don't want to let him off the hook. I think it's diabolical.
You know what I mean? If they would have put that in the edit. You know how they back in the day when you get caught lying, they would just insert the picture after it's edited. That would have been cool. Because they have the pics. I just want to be clear. Ain't nobody calling Ashley a victim. I have been the leader of calling her the biggest bird brain of all pájaros, okay? But I was just talking about it in general. When she was in the pods, she really thought that she found herself a gem. And then when she came out of the pods, she realized he was a jester. That's what she found out.
That was a perfect segue to where they want us to go in on the birth of the twins. And what I love what happened tonight with his interview is that before he gave any details, Ashley could lean on something. But now Ashley has to stand on the fact that she believes that these two women froze sperm from 2 years prior while trying to conceive the son. And that's the way that the twins were conceived. And when she says that she's smarter than the internet, like people have already pointed out the details it takes to unfreeze sperm and the temperatures and everything involved that's not a normal household. So now she's stuck via her husband that this is what you're telling us you're believing took place.
Well, Jessie Wu and then read out her Instagram story. And in that Instagram story, her tune is starting to change. I think she's aware now that she basically was just saying, she switched it more to, all this heat is a little bit too much and you guys don't know what I think is right and what I think is wrong. And I'm trying to handle it the best way I know how. She's changing her tune basically to she's trying to handle things internally.
She's going to stick beside the guy. Look, to her own demise. And it's going to be, again, a tale old as time. All of them were some birds. Bri was a bird in some capacity. Deshaun had a bird brain.
The ex-wife too.
Sean was a bird brain. And Ashley, for sure, she's the big bird. She's
Actually,
big bird.
It's a whole lot of birds in that cage. You got Deshaun a bird, Bree a bird, Tyler's a bird. Now Ashley's a bird. And they are all just clucking around, just a whole bunch of birds. And unfortunately, the kids are the victims because that's literally what's happening. It's literally cage full of birds, big bird, little bird. Because you got Deshaun and them at that poor lady baby got the ex fiance at the baby shower. Oh yeah, Bree Mama probably a little bit of a bird. I mean, birds.
Louisiana bird.
Oh, Tyler Mama a bird.
Serbian bird. Serbian bird.
Yo, can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah.
Man, I'm honestly curious.
Wait, hold up. We ain't gonna have no Louisiana hate real quick, Easton. Slow down on that, though, right? Slow down. Okay, that's Shreveport. That's Shreveport. Shreveport bird. Okay, she a Shreveport. Okay.
I said a Cajun bird.
But Bride's mama is a Boudin bird. She's a Boudin bird.
No, don't hit the Boudin. She is a Shreveport bird. Okay, I know she's from Shreveport. I could tell the Shreveport person anytime.
She's a Shreveport for sure. Liar's mom is definitely a bird. That's a diabolical bird.
What do y'all think? Like honestly, of the average viewer who loves this show, they're not gonna hear anything from Storytime Ricky, anything from Jesse Wu. They're gonna watch the season, watch the reunion, and they go, "Hey, let me watch some interview." They go watch Tyler's interview. Just if it's possible, we can erase all the stuff that we know. The show, the reunion, and Ashley interview, Tyler interview. What do you think they come away with?
The average viewer of this show is on TikTok, and it's not.
I was gonna say the same thing, Steve.
Yeah, it's not just Storytime with Ricky. Even though she has a certain amount of followers, her views on this are in the millions. And there's a couple of white girls too that cover Love Is Blind that also are bigger than Ricky, who also cover this. So if I was taking a wild guess, I would say at least 75 to 80% of the people who watch this show are very much so aware of what's going on with Tyler in this whole situation. I honestly feel like the best way to tell Netflix that we're not cool with this is with our dollar, with our viewership, and how we handle it. Because personally, not only was this Tyler Ashley situation a problem, they're not showing us any of the background information. They're not showing us any of the disagreements. The couples are self-editing all the time. You know what I mean? So the viewership is how you have to stick it to them. And that's all you can really do.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. Like all your viewpoints and every way you feel about the situation, I feel, but like on this viewership thing, I think we severely underestimate people not digging into this stuff. I can go into an office building with a bunch of cubicles and everybody talk about Love Is Blind, and they don't know none of this stuff that's going on TikTok and everything. They just and it hurts me. It makes me feel sad when I go and look at comment section and people like, why y'all jumping on them like this? They just sperm babies because they haven't seen anything. I'm not saying that like millions and millions haven't. Storytime Ricky got 5. I can see her views. She got 5 million likes. Likes are typically 10%. So you got 5 million likes on your channel. That means you probably got like 50 million views. That's on everything she's ever put on TikTok. Everything. The show is going to get way more than that. I think that we're severely underestimating the average common person who just click on, watch some shit, and go on with their life.
I think we're also underestimating the fact that this is good for them. Like the typically with shows like Love Is Blind, they have the 4-week window, the reunion, and then it falls off. But they're able to pull this thing out for weeks at a time and have people like, I hear about this Tyler deadbeat guy. Let's go look at him. And they're continuing the longevity of this season has tons of replay value, because even if you were somebody like us who's like want to dissect every little bit and understand each quote, we're rewatching it to like see if we saw something from weeks past. So to me, I think that Netflix and them like this, they find this extremely valuable. I do think that especially from Black women's perspective, like I think that there's going to have to be a mass convergence to other shows or to other IPs, because again, whether you all are getting the bad end of the stick, like from this season, y'all for sure got the bad end of the stick. You got Steven, you got Tyler. So boom. And I mean, granted, if we want to call Ramses, so on and so forth. But in prior seasons, there aren't a lot of Black women being shown, even if they are getting married or not, or if just overall the crop of men haven't been up to the par of the women. So in my opinion, I think there needs to be more, I guess, buyout from these shows if they're not necessarily catering and listening. Because again, I was about to bow out from the show the time we had Nick and Vanessa continue and being the hosts because they're terrible. But that's just me.
Well, yeah, and one thing that scares me again is like, if so many people know what we know, there is no hope to save Ashley and Tyler. But Netflix thinks there is. Maybe this will die down a little bit. That just shows me like so many people don't do it. And I could be completely wrong on what I'm about to say, but at least it'll spice things up. If you went into a Black hair salon and they start talking about season 7 of Love is Blind, I think the majority of people are not going to know all of these details we know. And it's just going to be like 1 or 2 people that's going to stand up and be like, nah, girl, them ain't no sperm babies. Let me show you this. They're going to, a minority in that shop is going to be able to tell people what happened. But the majority of them are not going to know all these details we know.
Well, enough people know to actually stir the pot and to stop them from being promoted. So all I can tell you is that Storytime with Ricky has 1.4 million views on multiple of her videos. I didn't go to Jessie Woo's YouTube video. I don't know if it's in the millions. I haven't looked. But between all these platforms, there's multiple millions of views on this issue. And I think that's enough. That's enough to disturb her peace enough that every time I hear she's on her Instagram story acting as if she can't live her normal life and she can't do what she wants to do. So, what happens from this? I don't know. I can't, we can't control what the random people in the barbershop know, but I think our displeasure and people's displeasure of this situation has been made loud and clear.
I hope you're right and I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong because I don't want this guy to get away with this bull crap. Somebody in the chat posted this season got 1.1 billion views.
Yeah, 1.1 billion. That's a lot. But 1.4 million views on one lonely TikToker's page. Not saying she's lonely, but y'all get what I'm saying. 1.4 million views on one TikToker's page shows you the reach of this information. Views, not impressions, views. So. And the court's going to hold him accountable, so we can just start there. He's not going to get away with not paying for them kids.
Well, I feel vindicated because Seaway echoed my sentiments. I feel good. I feel real good.
And don't be feeling vindicated off of me because I don't be knowing what you be talking about.
Yeah, don't try to attach that. That's a nice try, Tyler Light, but that's not.
But I mean, we what's to say? Broken clock will be right twice a day. We gonna agree on some stuff, but
sun shines on a dog's ass at least once a day. So look, I'm gonna just take my win. I'll just take it and go to sleep.
You done now. See now we get concerned about you because that's exactly a Tyler move. You done misconstrued that whole thing. She was making the middle ground with you, and you done contorted yourself into a pretzel trying to talk about being vindicated. Nice try.
Sean, you should have just let me. I can't just ride off into.
No, I shouldn't have. Because unlike Tyler, I can hold you accountable. I control out the ball. No.
You just said a win is a win.
Wait, no, not Easton. Not Easton been trying to get us held grace for Tyler all this time just so he can have the grace in the end. No. No, Easton.
Tyler, we need to show some grace.
Yeah, I have another question for you guys, right? Like anybody who's trying to convince Tyler to take care of his kids is just beating a dead horse. You're crazy. You're full of waste of time. However, what do you guys think about like the blatant lies of Tyler, Bry's 2 video, her video, her interview, like all the information that came out and his interview tonight? What do y'all think is going on in the mind of not only Tyler's friends, but the contestants that was on season 7 too, who even like Tyler. What do you think is going on right now?
What be going on with all y'all friends who sleeping with married men? What be going on with y'all when y'all got homeboys that ain't take care of their kids? It be the same thing. I think people be giving grace for people that they, like when somebody, you be trying to look past what they doing and not upset the apple cart. The only person who I saw who even slightly said something, at least agreed to something that was said, was Alex. She was on a podcast and they basically called Tyler out and she somewhat agreed to it, pretty much.
She got her own issues to worry about.
She does, but that's not relevant right now. I'm just talking about what they said to her and she agreed to it. I'm responding to John's question. We about to diverge. Okay, so she's the only one who even somewhat agreed, but everybody else, I feel like they don't want to rock the boat, because like what Easton just tried to divert the conversation, they don't want to say too much because they don't want too much on them. So half these people got too much going on in their life that they don't want to speak out against Tyler because they know that they got crap to them too.
But what do you think they believe? Like right now, all right, the only salvageable couple is Garrett and Taylor.
And I heard they're getting divorced.
Dang, that's crazy.
My boy blowed up.
But behind the scenes, do you think that they believe Tyler?
No,
absolutely not. But they have too much stuff. They have too many issues. So the problem with this season is, as soon as you go out and speak out against somebody else, you got like 4 fingers pointing back at you, i.e. Marissa, i.e. Hannah, i.e. Any of them, all of them have issues by reaching out their necks to save somebody or pull somebody's card, and it makes them look like idiots. So if you go out and reach out on Tyler's situation, somebody's gonna be like, well, weren't you over here, dealing with somebody who doesn't believe with your morals, or why didn't you have this smoke for so-and-so? I just don't, again, and I also think that we live in a day and age where there's not as much community as much as we like to believe. Like, I think that us digitally, like, we're connected, and but we don't live in this like arena of family and connectedness like we did, like going out and playing with your friends or drinking water out of the fire hose. Like, there isn't that level of connectedness to hold people accountable. Whereas now you're trying to keep this facade on the internet and within your followers and the people that you are an influencer to, that everything's perfect, everything's great, and nothing ever bad happens. And a portion with accountability is also, having those uncomfortable conversations. And I don't think that a lot of people want to have those because they just don't have that rapport built.
And it'd be
I'm
like,
probably wondering what day and age Easton live in. Boy, he be all talking about some day and age like he an old soul. I love you. I know you come from old parents.
I'm telling you, I got old parents, and I'm just like,
I know.
This doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Because think about it, I bet everybody in this chat probably got a friend that's a side chick or was a side chick, or they got a homeboy that was cheating on his girl, or I'm gonna name a whole bunch of situations. One of these gonna hit. You look, one of them.
You cannot hang with me. First of all, like, and this is real life situation.
Don't be airing me out, Seaway.
It's real life. If you're not taking care of your kids, you cannot be
around me. I didn't say that one. I didn't say that one. I'm talking about you got a friend that's cheating on their girl, their wife. You got.
I'm the dude they don't tell. I'm the dude. They go around everybody else. I'm the one with them around.
You may be different. You may be different, but I would say a lot of people have one of those situations in their life. And what they do is they try to check them behind closed doors. They tell them they raggedy. They tell them they ain't crap. And then whatever. Now, to me, I draw the line at kids. You couldn't be around me not taking care of your kids. Personally, that's where I draw the effing line.
How you gonna have your girl around me? And I'm saying, what's up, sis? What's up, sis? You like my sis to me. And then you go around smashing some other chick. Like, don't make me lie. Don't do that to me.
That's a lot of dudes. That's a lot of dudes. That's a lot of dudes.
John,
yeah, at 50% of this panel.
If you ran around telling all your friends' business now, come on.
Yeah, because John acting like come on now.
All right, I'm cool if you don't believe me, Sean. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I
not
don't
about
care.
I disbelieve you. I just think that is not the reality of the way the world moves. I mean, you might be an
So you're
outlier.
saying the
Hey,
world? So you're saying the world moves on 100%? You saying that nobody has morals and principles, bruh? You cannot come around me like that. You cannot come
I
around
believe
me.
it.
Don't put your girl in my face. I'm passionate, bro. If I call somebody my sis, they are my sister, and I'm not gonna let somebody play my sister. That's how I am. I got a multiple YouTube channels. You can look up all my history, and I've been saying this for years, bro. You can't come around me with that energy. You
But
gotta keep
John,
that
did
away
you
from me.
ever live under the guise of the bro code, or not saying at one point in time? I'm saying you might have unlearned and have healthy habits now, but did you ever at one point in time?
Bruh, when I was 25 years old, we drunk out of our mind in the studio. We in Atlanta. And as soon as I get lit, drunk out my mind, I say, hey man, let me ask y'all a question. Why y'all cheat on y'all girl? And everybody go, oh, here he go again. I'm that nigga.
Okay,
I'm that
makes
dude.
sense.
did you tell
I
their
agree.
girlfriends?
We
But did
believe
you
you,
tell their
John.
girlfriends? Did you go tell their girlfriends?
How'd your way in?
No, hold on. You saying when I'm 25?
Yeah. Did you tell their girlfriends that they were cheating?
No, I did not tell their girlfriends that they were cheating.
And that's what we're
years old.
saying. That's what we're saying. It's not to say. It's not to say.
You think you made your point, so you're trying to cut me off. You're trying to cut me off.
John, let me make my point, please. The
Go
point
ahead,
is
and I'll make
that
mine.
you don't disagree. I'm not saying I'm with you.
You're talking about a 25-year-old action to a 44-year-old man.
But
We gotta grow up sometime, and we gotta set the example.
But the point you were making, John, was that you are going to air all your guy friends out once you find out they're cheating.
No, I'm gonna tell you right now. No, I don't. You're putting words in my mouth. Why you cut me off? You put words in my mouth. I don't like.
You cut me off if you want to be technical.
But you put words in my mouth. I'm not putting words in your mouth.
A point. But now that my point is disproving what you said, you want to continue to talk over me.
Feel stupid
but I have not stopped talking because I'm still making my point.
Yeah, go ahead. Make the same point you make. Go ahead.
That's all it is.
Go ahead.
The point that I was trying to make is that
you're fucking wrong.
We all have ideals, but we don't always act on those ideals.
Okay, here this is where you're wrong at. I set the tone from the beginning that you are not going to come with me with this information. If you're gonna go out there and do all that foul shit, keep that shit away from me. Don't bring that shit to me. I don't want that shit in my fucking life. I don't put myself in a situation where a nigga can feel comfortable saying that shit to me. And I think it's weak to take the life lessons that we learn from me at 25 years old. I'm a 44-year-old man. I'm a father now. I wasn't even a father when I was 25 years old. I don't do that. Nobody can come around me. So when she say that, when she make that statement, I know some of y'all got guys and y'all do this. No, I don't. You can't do that with me.
I think you're personalizing it, and maybe that's the disconnect. When I'm saying
I should personalize if you say that to people on the chat. Like, I know y'all got guy friends and y'all that do this and do that.
But I was really talking to the chat. And when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about over the course of our lives, because our lifespan represents society and where we've been at multiple points in our life. So yes, you at 40-something years old, I hope that's not where you're at with your friends. But my point is, you were asking, or I don't know who was asking, but we were talking about how, I think your question is how people are cool with it. And I'm saying that it's quite common, like how you just expressed that at 25, that was the norm. I'm saying that at his young 30s, at the range that he's at, that unfortunately this is the norm for people. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not cool with deadbeats. It's not about me. I'm talking about this is what happens outside. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that when you have a platform, whatever you make normal, that's what followers will do. And 90% of the people are followers. Guys buy expensive cars and do all of this stuff because they think that women will like it. I think that we as black men need to make holding black our black male friends accountable. We need to make that the norm. So to harper on what I did at 25, and even at 25, I'm still asking the question that no other men will ask. You corny, you lame. We in the studio, we drinking, you bringing this up. They don't want to hear that shit. I still did that at 25. We should make normal holding black men accountable so they don't think it's cool to go out here and do that.
We should, but that's not the question you asked. You asked, how is it possible? And I said, it's very possible because people who love people and people who don't want to rock the boat, they look past it with the people that they care about.
Bingo.
That I didn't respond with that. I responded when you said y'all got guy. I know y'all got guy friends and y'all that do this and do that. That's when I responded. If it was from the first point before that, I wouldn't have said nothing. I responded directly to you saying that second statement.
Yeah, because I wanted to put in the minds of people who are so surprised that Tyler has people around him that acquiesce and are okay with it. And then I wanted them to put themselves, maybe not you personally at this juncture, at this point in your life, but when people turned it on themselves and they're like, wait, crap, I do got a bestie that was a side chick that I told her 5 billion times to leave that man alone, but I still love her, so I didn't stop being friends with her. And then you start to be like, dang, maybe I'm like the Tyler's enablers. And then you're like, dang, to your point, John, I don't want to be like that. That was the step I was trying to get us to. But we start talking about you at 25 and you at 45. I was trying to get us to the point.
Yeah, but you made that sound like it's crazy. Like we talking about you at 25. The question that was that you keep missing is that you said to us, yo, I know like y'all got like the same way y'all do this, y'all do that, y'all got friends, y'all lie for this. My initial thing would be I don't. If I cheated on a girl when I was 19 years old, and I'm telling you, say I know y'all be out here cheating on women. I'm 44. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to say no, I don't, because
then it don't apply. Then it don't apply. Then let it fly.
And if I can add something, and this is why I'm gonna pull a Easton, why I said what I said about Lateris not being able to do anything different, because for the most part, we all agree on this panel about some central things, but yet and still, we are at this back and forth about some little conversation, about some little insert that Seaway made about men not holding other men accountable. It just typically, it doesn't work out that way, because when somebody believes something, they hold fast to it and they're less likely to listen and hear somebody else's perspective. They're going to double down and dig in, just like you did, John, just like I did, just like Seaway did. That's why you can't just come at people and start throwing facts at them, because people are normally going to defend their points.
Yo, I thought it was a good dialogue. I don't see the
problem. It was good dialogue, but can I just edit Seaway's statement then? Let's just take it and make it personal to who it's supposed to be on. Tyler and Bri are best friends who cover each other in the way that Seaway is talking about. Period. When Tyler was having his freak offs and all that, Bri wasn't telling his fiance at the time. She didn't tell him that they sat around the fiance, been around the fiance. The fiance did not know that Bri was even carrying Tyler's child. They was keeping each other secret. Even in this interview that just right now, most of the time he's still covering for Bri, which leads me to believe that Ashley is never going to be his number one. Bri is still his number one, to be honest with you. He's still not totally denying it, as much as he say, I would want to hate her and I don't really like her, but you're still dealing with her when you feel like you don't even have to. So you like that girl. You're still covering for her, that other than the fact that he want to highlight that she's abusive only because Deshaun put that out there. But if Deshaun never said anything of that, he wouldn't have never came on that platform and mentioned it either. So that's what Seaway is talking about when they talk about friends that are covering each other and stuff, and still in this day and age. That's what she's talking about. Is that helpful?
Black men set a precedent that if a guy ain't raising his kids, ain't claiming his kid, ain't being with them, we not fucking with you. Set that precedent.
Okay, set a precedent and not cussing on Coach's channel. Please.
I mean, I was just about to say it, but thank you. I was just about to say it, but thank you. I mean, I think these situations do happen a lot. I mean, like, and again, it's everybody's personality. Me personally, I wouldn't want you to be around if you're not trying to take care of your kids. But again, like I said, it depends on the story, because I don't know what Tyler has fed his friends. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So, and we don't know what they know about the situation between him and Bri as what has colored maybe their perspective, which is what becomes very difficult. You know what I'm saying to you? So I think obviously with that situation, it's very easy for people to get away with certain things. But like I said, these kind of, and I think this goes also to Easton's point, right? These kind of men, can I be honest with you? Right? Specifically what this particular issue is of deadbeatness, right? They normally stick around with certain type of men because it's a certain type of behavior, right? Like, for instance, cheating is a particular type of behavior which we can all accommodate, right? Most of us can accommodate somebody who's cheated on somebody before. Probably got a friend or uncle or sister, whatever, right? That you've accommodated and said, well, it's their business, right? And we have levels to it. So the deadbeat one has a level to it, which is there are certain people that are going to be around you that may accommodate that kind of behavior, who may also have their own issues in the closet as well. And I think, Jay, you made a great point and an excellent point, which is this actually started from the Bushido. Okay, it's my new word now, Bushido. That started way before this, because actually liars go and stick around with who? Liars. Because the reality of the situation is that Bri was a liar and so is Tyler, right? She was happy to lie with him, literally lie down with him, the pun is intended, and also create these babies while knowing he had a fiance. Wow, knowing he had a fiance, a whole fiance. And you wanted to call it a sperm donor. No. Like you admitted, you slept with him, and that's how you conceive the first child. Both of y'all were lying and willing to lie and cover up in front of the fiance, right? And be like, I don't, and when they asked Bryce, she said, I don't even know. No, you knew. So liars are going to stick around with liars. How do you think that that Tyler got away with what he got away with? Because he stuck around with a liar. And a liar accommodate him because they're also liars too. That is just the reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying to you? So, hey, I think they're mirrors see mirrors. You know what I'm saying to you? You know, just like on this panel, I like intellectual people. So intellectual people normally turn up. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's water meets its level in most cases. So for me personally, liars gonna stick around liars. You know what I'm saying to you? And he was a manipulator. He found another manipulator, and they manipulated each other, and we got to the situation. Unfortunately, now there is kids involved, and responsibility needs to be put on Tyler to do what's best. If it's not going to be looking after his kids, fine. He's gonna pay some child support. It is what it is. Whichever one he wants to choose, he's gonna have to do one or the other. I think if he was to choose, he's gonna choose to pay that child support. You know what I mean? Unwillingly, but he's gonna pay that child support. I don't think, you know what I'm saying to you, but that's just my personal perspective.
Yeah, and also, Kojo, I mean, we can all agree, I think, in this chat that most of us, I would say 90% of people in this chat would not be friends with a deadbeat. I mean, to me, if you're a deadbeat, you're no friend of mine. I think we can all settle that. But I do I think in general, it's hard to hold friends accountable, because I think we're naturally, especially ones that we care about, I think sometimes people are naturally afraid to hold people they care about accountable because they're afraid that they're going to upset them and that they're going to lose that relationship. Some people aren't, but a lot of people are. You'd be surprised at how many people don't want to call their friends out. A lot of times, the closer the friend, the more they're afraid to call them out because they don't want to lose that relationship. And I think that adds to a lot of the problem. People don't want to rock the boat, and they don't want to tell people the truth.
And I think that's what I was identifying in what you were saying, is that when we have proximity to people, we are more likely to see their side and their perspective, versus when we have a bird's eye view of the scenario and then we can insert our opinion and we're not connected to it. So, of course, the point was never about co-signing on anybody's bad behavior. The point is that if we kind of sometimes, which we often do on this channel, is we take a look at ourselves and say, hey, listen, how can this be applicable to me? What things can I do differently? What are some of the things that maybe I've overlooked or had a blind spot for that I could examine my own behavior? Because please, he who is without sin cast the first stone doesn't just mean we don't get to call people out, but it also means self-examine first and not be so quick to distance yourself from, oh, that's deplorable behavior. I would never. Sometimes we would. Sometimes that never is, you would. And if you often say, I would never, sometimes that puts you in a place where you have a blind spot where you're missing things that you could also be calling out, not only in other people, but in yourself. That's what resonated with me when you made that comment, Seaway, and what I connected with is like, yeah, we do that. And it doesn't make us evil or doesn't make us, oh my God. No, but sometimes it's like we the people that we love and that are closest to us, sometimes they're a blind spot for us. And sometimes we give them a pass.
Yeah, for sure.
We do that, and it's wrong, and we need to change that narrative now. And we're going to make the example to step up to change that narrative. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
But And I say to that it's a 360 situation. We're gonna continually tell Tyler to step up. Got it. It's a revolving door, because again, if once Tyler is stepping up, then Liler is the new villain, and he does the same thing that Tyler used to do. It's going to be another Tyler, and there's always going to be this presence of evil or corruption or something like that. So that's why when I prescribe people suggestions or stuff like that, or even just chat about it, I think that it has to be holistic and it has to be 360. And what we're doing now just isn't working with the whole like shaming tactic, because I think that with a broken guy like Tyler, it, like everybody was saying, if Letarius went up there and was like, let me hold your feet to the fire, that dude would have reclused. He would have clammed up. We wouldn't have gotten half of the conversation that we would have gotten. And I mean, maybe he might not get the introspective thinking that could potentially happen from that conversation. I think that Letarius made it very clear that he was a foster father and he just couldn't see it that way. But I think that there's some value in that conversation one way or another. And I appreciated his conversation because he did offer a little bit of grace, where we want to just be like, Tyler's deadbeat bad. Yes, but it doesn't allow any room for growth or there to be any redemption arc, in my opinion.
You know how there's always a Tyler, Easton?
You're going to say because you don't shame him, and I'm going to say,
no.
Well, what is it then?
You know probably why he is like that, except for the fact that maybe he was born with some type of personality disorder.
His family situation.
Right. How did that happen?
His mom was his mom and dad weren't together. His mom was emotionally closed off. His dad wasn't present. So there you go.
Right. So how you think you try to fix that? Do we fix that by making it easy for men to walk away from their kids?
So does that start with does that start with maybe wanting it to be mandatory to be married before you have somebody's kid, or does it start with?
Oh yeah, Easton, love that. Let's talk about that. I talk about that all the time, and guess what they tell me? I'm shaming baby mamas. They saying the same thing you.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody is upset. I'm saying both are wrong. I'm just saying
no, it's not. Actually, you're about to make the point I'm making. I think that you should be promoting two-parent households. You should be promoting responsibility. You should make it hard for men to walk away. You should not be nice to men that walk away from their kids. That's where me and you differ. There needs to be shame. There should be a time where if you're a deadbeat, you should be castrated.
The problem
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say it like this because y'all been talking and I ain't saying nothing for a long time. I'm gonna shame the heck out of you. I'm gonna shame the heck out of you if you sit here and tell me that you purposely gifted or donated some kids to somebody because they were in a two-parent household. Sit on a platform, say, I don't care if it's a 2 women, 2 men, a man and a dog, but as long as it's 2 parents up in the house, I'm gonna give them a baby. And then sit there and when the parent leaves, say, I'm stepping up because I agreed to give you a 2-parent household or whatever and stuff like that. And then as soon as any opportunity you get to leave, you leave. I'm gonna shame the heck out of you because you're consciously making a decision to continue a cycle that you didn't benefit from. That you tell us on a platform that it hurts you so bad or whatever, that you are so broken inside that you want to do it to 3 babies, not just 1, but 3 of them. So yes, I'm gonna shame the heck out of you.
You should be shamed, but it's really just mostly the Black community that says things, and this is not to call Capricorn out, but when we say things like you should not need to be married to take care of your kids, yeah, in theory you shouldn't need to be. In theory you should take care of your kids because you brought them into this world. But the fact that the Black community actually leads in single family households, we are the leader in single family households because all we do is run around the internet and talking about marriage is just a piece of paper. Or we say things like, oh, well, you could get divorced and be a single mom. We're the only ones running around with that foolishness. When it is actually shown percentage-wise that if you at least start with a 2-parent household, you have a better chance to provide your kids a better outcome.
Now, C-Way, the only thing I will push back on that, yes, that is true, but now take that next leap, because you took a big leap. You called out Black people, but why? Why is it that way? Is it just because Black people are inherently flawed?
Oh no,
Crack
because
epidemic.
we're a part of a system of systematic racism where we've
Thank
been
you.
kind of I mean, I thought that was
I just needed you to say that so that didn't
Oh.
stand in isolation. Like,
oh yes,
we're
yes,
just flawed.
There's reasons.
Okay.
There's reasons why we're this way for sure, right? That we all know. But I just hope that we can deprogram this, because a lot of the issue that came into why we got here is because of how casual we are with bringing kids into this world. The Bree, Tyler, hot mess situation. Yes, I know that Bree and the wife was married, but it was so just casual, nonsensical, and it happens on so many levels. And we have to stop. Because this is the reason why, and it's another tea that Issa gonna love. I think a lot of women don't understand that men, even married men, I guess the Capricorn's point maybe I didn't read it. Even there's a lot of married men that once they get divorced, act like they don't want to be bothered with the kids. A lot of men's love for their kids is attached to the love they have for the woman. And I think a lot of women don't understand that when you set yourself up and have casual relationships that lead to casual kids, these men don't have the same attachment that we have to the kids because they're not birthing it. So the best thing that you can do is try to have kids in a relationship of love and hopefully a marriage. Tyler, like many men, are able to walk away from these kids because they don't give a F about the woman that had them. Now, we could debate about that, but we're not men. Men and women don't think the same. I think it sucks that they are able to walk away so easily. It's horrible for us. But that's just a different programming. And we have to understand, as the women that birth the children, we have to be the most protective over this situation. And we're not.
But catch this, T. Tyler didn't even get up there and tell us a typical Black man story of why he left the kids because the baby mama was just so difficult and all that stuff. He didn't even say none of that stuff. I just don't have an attachment to him, so I F them kids. So you gonna tell me you're gonna have attachment to Ashley's kids when she actually have them just because you was there through the process, like you weren't there through the process of the twins? Is this gonna mysteriously happen?
I disagree. He did say that. He said that she get with women and she push him away, and that's what really disgusts me.
And she said the same thing.
Yep. But what disgusts me is that like you know how you can see a child who say that they've been abused and all this stuff and it's not true. And when I hear that they're saying this is not true, that there are really children out there being abused. So when Tyler is throwing baby mama drama and not letting him see the kids and stuff that he making up, it pissed me off, because that's what so many of us Black men go out here, the ones that want to be in their kids' life. We got to go through this, but we don't get the luxury of just saying, I quit. We got to keep fighting and keep fighting. The split second we quit, we're the most horrific person ever on earth. So the fact that so many men going through this every single day that we wake up, and this guy uses this for his excuse, it's disgusting to me.
So if John, real quick, so if he would have continued to like try and fight or be involved, cause my vantage point is the smokes the same way for Deshaun, since this is a child that she wanted and she got blocked out? Like, should she have done more to be more involved, or is it the onus more on Tyler, although there was some nefarious business within that?
I thought you said you watched my channel, shouted.
No,
I went off on her. I paused the video right there and like, hold on, fam. And for the same reason, my passion came out. Like, yo, I said, he was never your son. You signed the birth certificate because you got a daughter. Would you have let your daughter go away? Like, oh, it's too hard. Oh, it get too hard and you just walk away from your son? So he was never your son because you would have never walked away. I said it just like this with this.
No, I'm rocking with you on that.
When it's morals and principles, you don't care about the individual. You care about the action. I see an action like that, I'm going to say something. So I went off on her.
No, I respect that. But I'm saying, as I see in the chat, everybody's like, I respect that she stepped down for her mental health. I'm saying the same. You can't do that because you have to have the same energy that you have for Deshaun or for Tyler as you do for Deshaun. But it won't happen like that because, again, most of these situations will be double standards, and it's the unfortunate reality.
Well, can I clarify?
But the nuance. Oh, go ahead, Steve, because you might say the same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to clarify that in that situation, one, she was at an uphill battle because she wasn't genetically tied to the kids. But two, when you're trying to fight for custody, when there's already two parents involved, it's a different situation than these people who leave or they quit fighting when they know the child is going to be left with one parent. You get what I'm saying?
No.
I'm just saying the smoke.
If she quit, she didn't fight. She quit.
No, did you watch the interview? She said she did
I watched
fight.
the interview.
She had a lawyer and everything.
Yep. And then what did her lawyer do? What did she do? She quit. They didn't make it all
the
the way.
Mental health, and she bowed out.
But you know, she's a lesbian couple trying to fight a heterosexual situation with no genetics. Who's going to get that baby to her?
So if it's real love, you keep fighting until there's no more fight in you. That's what they're asking of us black men to do every day. When you got trifling baby mothers and they doing all of these things to try to keep you away from your kids, we gotta fight. The moment we stop, we are horrific. We're scrutinized. We're
now again, facts on all of that. You guys are destroyed and all that, but you guys are still the biological parents. You still have a tie. The only thing I can have as an argument for that Seaway is losing Isaiah, that movie.
I didn't see that.
I did. I saw it, but she fought. She kept fighting. She won. She got him back.
And also now that we know that Tyler and Brian said basically that they colluded to sign this thing up so they could block her from getting having access to the child, would you feel a particular type of way if she doesn't continue to fight or doesn't like apply or try to
sign?
Huh?
She didn't continue to fight. She quit.
Yeah, she doesn't have any biological tie to those kids, and she was gonna lose that. So why you wanted her to fight an uphill battle so she could come back and tell y'all that she fought?
No, I want her to fight an uphill battle.
Listen,
I want the same energy on both sides. That's how you heal.
Okay, so granted, Seaway did not see. Okay, but granted, Seaway didn't see Lewis and Isaiah. That's why I said I brought that movie up for a thing. Halle Berry is the main character in there. She's a drug addict. She loses her child. She gives her child up. Her child gets into the adoption agency. White couple adopts her child. They raise the child, and the child has health issues due to drugs or whatever. Eventually, she gets herself cleaned up. She fights to get her child back. Because she is the biological parent, she gets her child back. Despite the fact that she's on drugs, been on drugs, this and that and the third, she gets the child back because she's a biological parent. At the end of the story, though, it turns around because she ends up giving the parent, because she knows her child can be raised better by the white couple, then she can never give them a better life at the end of the thing. But to Seaway's point is, their courts are always going to give the child to the biological parent unless you can prove that parent is unfit to do it. Now, with Tyler stepping in and helping Bri, like he claims, that gives her a better shot of getting her kids against Deshaun, which, of course, like Seaway said, is an uphill battle for Deshaun because she has no whatsoever ties. It's not her egg. She didn't carry the child or anything. She has no whatsoever ties to that baby. Courts are generally going to give the child to the biological parent. Period.
And they weren't honoring she said they weren't honoring the typical rights that you get as a married couple because it was the same-sex couple. They treat a lot of same-sex couples differently as well.
I agree with everything y'all saying, and I still don't care because I don't believe in play parenting. I don't believe in play love. Is it your child or not? If it's your child, what you'll fight for your biological daughter, you'll fight for your son that you had and you signed the birth certificate for, that was conceived directly for you and Bri. You will fight to the end the same way you do your daughter. So are we saying that a man and a wife get married, they can't have children, they go adopt a child, they get divorced, and the man just like, she making it too hard. It's too hard. I don't even want to fight. I quit. Is that cool?
I think this is different though, because this is the equivalent of a stepchild. This is like a stepchild. So you lose the rights of that child. Like, I'm a step parent. My rights to once I got divorced are not really considered. it's about how the biological parents consider me. So it is quite difficult. Now, can you make a legal battle and try to make a legal claim? But it's an uphill battle. And I think that's the point that everyone is trying to make, is that technically Deshaun is like a step parent.
No,
I don't think so. I think it's like adoption parents.
How?
I don't see step at all.
She signed on the birth certificate. This is a family that they were trying to orchestrate, and they did. I'm saying we have a different tune for Deshaun than we do for Tyler. Tyler is nailed to the cross. Deshaun is like, well, she tried her mental health, and now she had to step back and she had to tend to that. I was just pointing out like the hypocrisy. But hey,
I don't know how much grace. I don't know how much grace. That's what I'm saying. You keep trying to give Tyler all this grace by trying to throw you worse than Tyler trying to throw everybody in the mix. Leave it stay with Tyler.
I think they're both the same.
Because he ain't even trying to fight. They not both the same. He ain't even trying to fight. She at least gave it a fight. No, they not both the same. They are not both the same. He didn't even try to fight. Knock that off. Knock it off. Cut the crap.
I feel like I'm getting dumber and dumber.
I read through 5 comments saying that she had to step back because of her mental health. And I'm saying you do not. Y'all put on the neck of Tyler, which y'all should.
Because he's the biological father. I think that's what you're missing.
If she stepped back for her mental health and she was the biological mother, I would call her a bum.
Yes.
And Tyler stepped back because of his financial health because he was 7 evictions in.
A step parent, whereas Bri is the biological mother. And the biological father is Tyler. And she just happened to be married to Bri. That's it.
If she stepped back from her biological child, I would call her a bum.
This is
ex bride, and why did bride did take Deshaun's child? Okay, if that's the case, she took her children. She fought for her children. She should have fought for Deshaun's child too. If you want to go there,
I went off on bride the same way. It's not the person, it's the action. You do the action, I'm going off on you. I did all 3, bride. How are you gonna come in and be stepmother to this daughter that you raised up and you didn't come in and take and fight for, try to be in her life? Like you do the action.
Ethan, you just be trying to throw little stuff in there to see what stick. You ain't low. This is a really silly effing conversation. Moving on. I'm not taking a bait from your crap no more.
I'm just saying, John. We saw in the comments, she stepped back because of the mental health. And I'm saying, y'all not exuding this.
No, Ethan, you fight this fight yourself. John said his point. John made his point. You fight this fight yourself because you started this campaign.
I said that first. And I'm saying they both deserve the same amount of energy.
No, they
and
don't.
Y'all need to apply the same amount of pressure on their neck. And
it's 2 different situations.
I don't even believe this,
It's
Sean.
2 different situations, Easton. How are you going to compare an apple to a watermelon? They're 2 different things.
Because
yes, they're both in the fruit category, but they're vastly different.
Deshaun and Brian were planning a family together. They were looking at other donors.
Okay.
And I planned to be a millionaire, Easton, but I didn't do it the right way. So let's just move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. Okay.
And then the plans went awry because somebody decided to go rogue on the plans and choose somebody that was close to home instead of all the other options.
She got inserted with Dang-a-lang, and now we're here.
Yo, he done got it lit.
Kojo gonna eat up this content, gonna be good.
Straight trolling.
Somebody asked me, would I fight for a child that my wife conceived secretly with another man? Absolutely not. But I never claimed father of that child, so that's a false equivalency. That's
not a false equivalency. Because if you didn't know until afterwards, no, as long
as I get to speak.
Actually, you're actually more the father of that child than Deshaun is of this.
Not in Georgia.
On the birth certificate.
Not in Georgia.
In Georgia, you are. Actually, in Georgia, it's the exact opposite.
No, I'm not.
If your wife steps out on you, has a baby on you, that is actually your kid in Georgia.
Nope. No,
and she don't tell you, and you find out some years later.
Fun fact.
Deshaun
y'all, why can't I speak? She asked me the question, right?
On the birth certificate.
So there's no details of when I know. So she's just saying if my wife just flat out got pregnant.
Yeah, but you made the details through your answer. So
I didn't y'all if I didn't raise the child, I didn't do nothing.
It don't matter.
My child. Yes, it do.
Yeah, legally, actually, y'all black people love to live in the South, and they got some funny rules for y'all. Down there in Georgia, use the pappy. Use the big pappy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You can
Nope.
say no.
You are, and you can say
No.
no, or you don't want to.
No,
but you would
Sean,
have
no,
to go
Sean,
through a
because
process.
there's no detail. Because once your wife cheats on you, that's grounds for divorce. Y'all making the scenario. I didn't raise a child for
Right.
6, 7. I'm 6, 7 years. She didn't say that. If I'm saying if my wife cheat on me and find out she pregnant, I'm out. I'm not
Well, you can
raising the
sort that.
child. I'm
You can
not
sort
doing
that out
nothing.
in divorce
You
court.
will
Most
have to
people do
fight that out with the courts, and they would have to legally get the father to step in.
And you want to know
Yeah,
another
and then
fun
there will
fact?
be a DNA test, and there'll be a grounds for the divorce upon you cheating on me. I'm not gonna have to raise that child.
But guess what else is
No,
funny?
you might not have to raise it, but you will be financially responsible
No, I
until
will not be.
the father is held.
Yeah, because
y'all making shit up now.
no, I'm
sorry,
not.
sorry.
Actually, can I
Yeah.
get this off? Can I get this out? Can I get this out? Actually, in Georgia, if they can't find that man that impregnated your wife, you're definitely responsible because the court is not going to take responsibility to you and give it to that bum. So if your wife got pregnant by a Tyler and Tyler can't be found, oh, you definitely the pappy and you got to pay.
I don't believe you.
Look it up.
Okay.
It's right there in the law books. So
I have to agree.
Now in the
Don't
north,
believe the lawyer.
in the north, we don't have rules like that. But down there in the south, oh, use the pappy.
Not you gonna make this a North versus South thing.
I mean, it's true. We don't have those type of rules.
Yeah, y'all know on
That's
these.
why y'all got all the men's running around just being deadbeat dads up there.
I'm gonna do an entire whole video breaking this down.
You gonna break down what I just said?
Yeah, I'm gonna break down the law, everything. If your wife cheated on you in the state of Georgia, I'm gonna do a whole video on it.
Okay. Well, I want my credit because I just gave you the content.
Yeah.
You can educate men, so you better hope your
Not the
wife,
silence on that part.
because he looking it up. He probably see what I just said.
No, I'm very thorough. I won't do that on this live. We're gonna talk about other stuff, but I'm very detailed, so I am gonna look it up and do a whole live on it. Probably tomorrow.
This live is so awry right now. It's just all over the place.
because
We
it
supposed to be
is.
talking about
It's not
Tyler.
Jojo.
Jojo,
No, it's
are we ready to?
It's good. It's a good vibe. I'm just saying, y'all.
I
I just
know.
wanted y'all to have the same energy for Deshaun that y'all do.
No,
But
I'm gonna give you the same energy and then you keep it up. Okay, I'm gonna give you the same energy
Yeah.
Tyler's supposed to get. Keep it up.
Why do you want to equate those two so bad? Like, what does it get you to put Tyler and Deshaun in the same category?
Sean, trolling.
Sean,
No, let me
absolutely
answer. I
nothing,
want him to
because
answer my question. Why do you want them to be the same?
because at this point we have magnified, we have pressed down on the fact that Tyler is a liar, a habitual liar, a pathological liar, maybe a sociopath. Again, I don't want to diagnose him, but we get it. I'm saying that there
This
are
long-winded Tyler answer.
Yeah, I just think that there's more villains, and I think that again we'll miss the plots on the other villains because we're like, Tyler is just this major villain when there's other people involved. But again,
This is Gotham City. We never said it wasn't more villains. We know all of these people is a villain in some type of way, but right now the focus on Tyler because he signed up on the show and brought all this villainry to us.
Easily gonna take 20 minutes to answer a question if he don't do nothing else.
Y'all just don't have the same energy for somebody who's exuding.
Because it's different things. And I think that's the point, either that you're intentionally missing or that you don't want to see, is that they are two different people with two different sets of circumstances surrounding their behavior. So that's why we're not giving Deshaun the same smoke as we are giving Tyler, because they are two different people that have acted out in very different ways.
Both are a quitter. Tyler is the diabolical, evil guy. Both are quitters.
You
Both
can make that
quit.
leap if you want to. That's not my point, though. I mean, you can
quit. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can leap over there if that's what leap away. But I'm not leaping there because I think that situation is very nuanced in talking about the dynamics between Deshaun and Bree and Tyler. And I'm not ready to just say, oh, she's a quitter. No, I think it's more nuanced. But I'm not willing to circle the drain about it, So if that's how y'all feel, go off.
I done dated men that got kids. I got dated a man that had kids or whatever, got attached to the kids, and it was very painful to have to walk away when that man was no longer. Do I still think about the kid? Do I still talk to him? My daughter still talk to him? Yes. But I don't have no attachment to that kid to be sitting here and be like, oh, that's my son. I can sit here and discipline him, tell him what to do. None of that stuff like that. That is an ex's kid that was born before I came around, and it wasn't in my relationship, so that's a whole different thing too. But still, sometimes you just have to like let some stuff go when you're being literally pushed out of the situation, which was the case when Tyler decided to step in and help Bri fight this woman for custody.
Hanny Yon in the comment section. I never agreed to my wife because the scenario is she secretly cheated on me. I never agreed to take care of another man's baby. Bri's wife agreed. They went to get a sperm donor. It was
They were going to agree to that
I can't
regardless.
finish my sentence. Boo boo. I can't finish.
You can't.
This is an agreement. We want a son. This is our son. We're gonna be there. We're gonna raise this son. She said that and she backed out on it. If my wife cheated on me with another guy, I never agreed to anything. Something deceitful is happening to me. That's a false equivalency.
We don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. She's fighting for full custody. They're fighting against her for full custody or whatever and stuff like that. She quit on the full custody. I don't know why we didn't go for half custody or whatever. I don't know what the agreements. Oddly enough, nobody mentions that part of it. Not one of them.
Tyler is her nemesis.
Because he stepped in and decided I'm gonna take it so we can get full custody over here with Bri. But at the same time, he should have stepped out and left it alone because there would still be two parents and they could have probably came to an agreement to have joint custody, which they should have did in the first place. But here go Tyler stepping in for Bri, who is this abusive person. They both all agree, well, all but Bri agree on. He said in the interview now and all this stuff. So you would step up for abuser to have a child against somebody else who you don't feel like is abusive or has been abused. But I'm supposed to hold Deshaun more accountable.
No, nobody's saying hold anybody.
I hold Tyler more accountable. Tyler is the despicable human being. Yeah. Tyler is far more at fault.
Okay. Excuse me. Let me correct myself for Easton. I'm supposed to equally hold Deshaun accountable with Tyler.
I don't think nobody's over here chirping that Deshaun is wrong. People are literally saying in the chat.
Question: am I supposed to equally? I'm gonna do what Lataria should have did Tyler. Am I supposed to equally hold Deshaun in comparison to Tyler?
No, that wasn't the point. I just saying.
Thank you. You answered your own question.
I'm just saying hold her accountable. I'm looking through the
no,
chat.
You kept saying equally. You kept saying equally.
I'm saying, okay, if y'all gonna hang him at the cross, put your foot on the throat of Deshaun for not fighting a little bit more. My equivalent, because Sean was just saying this is apple and watermelon, is literally your family planning with Bri. You go ahead and coincide with her agreement to get pregnant with Tyler's sperm. You're on the birth certificate. Tyler doesn't even see the child for 2 days. So you're over here bonding with it, doing the whole I'm naked and I got the baby and it's on my skin. I don't know the technical term for that, but you know what people be doing and taking the pictures of. But you doing that. Tyler is over here. He at the sports bar. Now, hold
up. You got to rewind that. And sorry to cut you off like that, but you got to rewind that interview. He said that was the other girlfriend, not Deshaun, not the wife. I know he confused everybody because he was going back and forth about 4 or 5 girlfriends in between there trying to say Bri had a bunch of people. But he said that was the girlfriend doing the casting and all that stuff.
No, for the first child for the son, it was Bri or Deshaun.
Bri was gone through some of the pregnancy of the first child.
No, I'm saying Deshaun and Bri. She wrote her name on the birth certificate. She did that she had the baby. She was there.
And then what happened next?
After the 2 days, according to what Tyler said, we can't. You never know.
No. According to what Tyler say, other people said
next based on the documentation.
After the documentation, they were separated. She left. Right? She went to California.
Before that, who is now today's date those child's parent?
Deshaun or Bri and
thank you. So that's what happened next. So yes, she signed the birth certificate. However, Tyler and Bri got together legally and removed her parental rights because she was not the biological parent, and the biological parent stepped in and said he would serve as the parent. So the courts granted custody and responsibility to Tyler and Bri, the biological parents, and removed her.
No, she quit.
No, she did not. She was
did not
fighting
have
a
a
legal
court
battle, and she was
ruling saying that she's been
She did
moved
quit.
on.
no.
She did quit.
I'm not sure why you want to twist this into a pretzel. That's not what happened, buddy. That's not what happened.
None of the court documents say that there was a court ruling that said she moved out.
But listen,
didn't she use the word withdrew? That's quit. She quit. She quit. It's not that deep.
And then with her not being,
why did she quit? She quit because the biological father.
She quit because means she quit. If you got to say she quit because, that means she quit.
Okay. I mean, you what are we going to do? Are we going to play in nuance? Are we going to make broad statements? Or are we going to tap dance around everything? There's a reason. It's not like she just woke up. Well, that reason is very important, and we can't just dismiss it because we want to hang our hats on her quitting. No, she quit for a reason, because she was legally forced out, and she no longer has.
There will be documentation of that, right? Because there's documentation of everything. There would have been a court ruling saying we have.
Oh Lord.
There is no court document.
It's Tyler's child support order that states he's responsible for all three of those.
That came after that, and you're saying that she legally forced out. How are you legally forced out if you withdrew? She believed that, so she quit.
She didn't contest it. They gave it to.
I don't know why you want to put all the gas on her quitting. I don't know what that value adds, but
it adds the truth, because you said it. You said it. We agree, Sean. Sean, you agree with me.
They all agreed. I don't.
When you get finished, you agree with me. It makes you mad that you agree with your boy. You said that she quit too. You say out of your mouth. You said she quit because we agree.
John, I don't have an investment in her quitting. I don't really care.
I didn't say you did. You're changing the subject about your involvement. I don't care. I'm just saying that you agree with me.
Corner and tell me
I didn't back you in the corner. I'm saying what you said out loud. You said she quit.
John. Can I talk after I agree? She quit. Now can I finish?
We cool. Go ahead, talk.
Okay. Now the point is, legally they colluded together to take her rights away from her. So she proceeded to fight, but she could not fight any longer, or she chose to quit.
You put words in the mouth.
Because the two biological parents decided they wanted to be responsible for the kid.
Okay. So can I respond?
Where we are today.
No.
That's where we are. The two biological parents made a decision that they wanted to take care of the child. And hence, the two biological parents need to now be responsible.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I got him. You put words. You put words in her mouth. Yo, stop being triggered, my boy. It's not that serious.
I'm not triggered.
Hey.
I'm just telling you that you don't have me.
Okay, well, let me talk then. You put words in her mouth when you said that she was cornered. We don't know if she was cornered because she quit. She felt things that scared her. It was fear in her. She quit from the fear. The reality hasn't set in because she could have went to court and won, or went to court and lost. Was the stacked against her really high? Absolutely, my boy Sean. It was stacked really high, but it was not a 100% guaranteed, because we don't know, because she did what you and I agree on. She quit.
I agree. And all I'm saying is she's saying she stepped back, she withdrew. Much like how Tyler was speaking about how he had never gone to court. I know he didn't. That's what I believe he did. He didn't go to court, and they probably ruled the $10,000 judgment because he withdrew and he defaulted and he wasn't there. But the same way with Brian Deshaun, she probably withdrew. They were like, oh, Tyler and Brian are going to be there to pick up the slack. Let's reward them with custody and move on. But I think Deshaun kind of just bowed out just for mental health reasons. But again, I'm just showing the hypocrisy between it. But it is what it is.
Go away with your hypocrisy.
It is.
Because you want us to hold grace for a whole deadbeat. No, go away with that, please. I don't have time. I don't have to. I do not have time.
There to be the result of, I think everybody wants Tyler to be in his children's life. Cool. You berating him and being isn't going to help him do that. The fact that a bunch of men that's been running around here not taking care of their children have not been berated all this time.
has not been called to the front all this time is the reason why we are in this cycle that we're in. It's not because people have been shaming them. They haven't been shaming them. Let's be all the way honest with it. Because a lot of people have not been shaming men for being dads. They're running around the street, hanging with the boys right now, knowing they got kids at home and not doing a damn thing about them.
I don't think it's just nearly about the shame. I think that you definitely there's a lot of nuance within that, but I think it's, again, you don't have somebody who can really incite violence to do that. I don't think that resolves in shame. And I just think that this new crop of people, these new crop of individuals aren't going to respond well to that. But that's just me. Again, we can take that with a grain of salt. I just don't think that they respond well to shaming them. All they're going to do
Are
is
you within this new crop of individuals? Because you and Tyler are actually your age earlier for a reason. You and Tyler are around the same age. So you're telling me that Tyler is part of the new crop of individuals that's not going to respond to shaming?
I think that a younger group of the
so
younger
people in their 30s,
yes,
below.
And lower, I think that I think that naturally there's a lack of accountability from a lot of the younger crowd. And I'm saying that they don't do well when you are standing in front of them and you're telling them and pointing at them and shaming them. Whereas I know that whether it be me hanging out with sisters or cousins or anything like that, we can take a little bit of criticism and we can develop from that. But you tell somebody like Tyler, I think that it will force him to recluse and clam up, and he will never. All he'll relate this situation to is shame and guilt, and he'll never want to be anywhere.
You know why? Because he's been surrounded by a bunch of enablers his whole life. People that allow him to do the BS the whole time and never told him, Tyler, you're wrong. Tyler, you are wrong. Tyler, you're wrong. He has not had one person tell him he is wrong.
I have a hard time believing that when you got 7 evictions. I'm sure that he's probably been told, like, hey, you don't know how to manage your money, player.
If you got 7 evictions, that means nobody told you after the first, second, third, you were wrong. How you get to 7 without being told you're wrong?
Also, he got his mom taking up for him, his friends taking up for him. Like, this is insane to me that some people can see all these harmful actions and everybody's taking up for Tyler. Like, Tyler and Deshaun not on the same page. Deshaun quit. Not a big deal. Didn't think this would take this long on her section with all the crazy stuff he had in his interview. But like, they're not on the same playing field. Tyler is far worse than Deshaun.
When nobody's a
Have you shifted your perspective a little bit, John? Because that's not what I was hearing earlier.
No, that's how you took it, because I typed that in the chat and I said it the whole time. Like, Sean, they both quit, but he's the diabolical one. I literally said that earlier, not even 10 minutes ago. He is far more diabolical in his action that he did, but they both quit.
That's all I'm saying.
I've been saying the whole time.
I think Latarius probably got to him a lot better than any of us yelling at him or making fun of him. I promise you. I think.
And he said, don't try to sneak in that. That's all I'm saying, because that's not all you were saying.
That is all I'm saying.
I heard that. Don't try it.
I agree with you, Sean.
What?
I agree with you, Sean. See, at the end is when you can clarify all your trolling and be like, yeah, I resonate with what Sean was saying and what the panel was saying. But I think what Latarius told Tyler, with him sharing all of the little stories and his transparency, is probably going to go way further than us or anybody being like, where's kids? Why is she seeing them kids? It might not be today or tomorrow. It might be some years, but I promise you it's going to be a lot more valuable.
That part which you say right there, Ethan, I do agree with you. I do agree that sometimes you have to spoon feed people and soft word people. But right now, right here, ain't no grace given to that man. Okay, Latarius gave all the grace that he needed to get. Okay, that's it. We ain't giving him none over here. So if you want to go over there with Latarius, by all means, go over there with Latarius and give him all the grace that you want to give him. But if you want us to do it, and I mean us by all of me, all the parts of me to do it, ain't about to happen, because I don't have grace for a deadbeat dad. I just don't. A man that's willing to give up his seed and say, F them kids. No, I don't have grace for it. I'm sorry.
That's fair. Well, it's getting late, so I know we got final calls. Kojo's over here telling us it's time to wrap it up. How we feeling about this live, y'all?
After you just ran us a mug, no, don't go away from me.
You gave me a headache. That's how I feel.
I thought it was lit.
Yeah, because you get to argue and debate all daggone day. What the? Y'all got my damn accent coming out. Shit, y'all pissing me off.
You see, I disengage because Easton about to take us around the merry-go-round. I'm not going to do all that.
Yeah, we
You
don't have
agree with
time
me.
for
We see eye to eye.
We have 30 minutes. No, we have 5 minutes actually.
Well, if we can, people are asking to plug our socials. Well, they asked for mine, but everybody should plug theirs. So, you guys,
Now people are asking for the show. Well, they ask for mine. You see what get on my nerves? You're such a sanitarian.
I promise I'm not this bad all the time.
Issa, yes, you are actually. Every single
No,
time you're up here, you're this bad. Actually, worse most times. This was not that bad. But yeah.
Look, y'all. Look, love me or hate me, you watched.
I think that what be getting me about you, Easton, is that you really present like you're going to be reasonable. Like you present as if you're reasonable, and then everything you say after that is unreasonable.
No, I think
That's
I'm
my
fairly
problem.
reasonable. I think that a lot of people are charged by their emotions, and this is a very delicate, like a very triggering situation. And I'm like, okay, obviously Tyler's deadbeat, but let's peel this back a layer or two.
But then you don't peel it back, though, Easton.
Yeah, I do. Everybody's lying.
The issue, you don't peel it anywhere.
The issue with this situation is that we take automatically everything that Bri and Deshaun are saying and what Ricky and Jesse have presented in the documentation as straight facts. That's it, end all be all. When I'm saying no, it's more into it.
Guys,
Clearly, I know, but I'm about to let me hit this for Easton real quick because clearly you have not watched any of my breakdowns. Everybody got individual breakdowns and individual smoke for their part. If you watch my breakdowns, Bri lying, Deshaun lying, Tyler hella lying, Ashley trying to live by the lie and lying with omission, her own thing that she don't even like. Okay. Everybody gets smoked, but right now, because this is Tyler's interview that I've actually been waiting on, guess what? It's Tyler Smoke.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one who haven't done an interview yet up until this point, so he hasn't actually gotten the smoke that he deserves. So allow me to give him all his smoke, okay? Let me bring out the smoker and put a brisket on and let it go for the 16 hours, 18 hours plus, okay? A matter of fact, I want to do it for a full 48. Let me live. Let me get that man all the smoke because he was on the show for the whole 12 episodes that we watched. Not Bri, not Deshaun. They were introduced to us because of something Tyler did that brought Bri out, that brought Deshaun out. We would not know about these people had it not been for Tyler. So let him get his smoke.
I agree. And for that, it makes you feel like too much time was wasted on Deshaun. Just say she quit and move on.
Y'all are wildin'. So, listen, we going to end the show. Okay, time is up. I'm going to let Deacon Sean round us up and round us out.
We didn't do the socials because we got sidetracked again. You could go ahead.
Okay, yes, please do the socials first, and then if Deacon Sean could round us up and round us out. Thank you.
If you guys want to keep up with me, I'm on TikTok at It's Seaways World Esquire, at It's Seaways World Esquire. And then my Instagram is Mrs. Dior 22. Jay?
My bad. I was on a whole other page. Anywho, y'all see my social right here. It is another round on YouTube, another round JS, and on Instagram it's the Sexy Tomboy if you're really looking for me, okay? But otherwise it's another round J_JS.
Yo, everybody! I promise you, I'm not nearly as polarizing in real life. At Primetime Indie on all socials, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So yeah.
John, you're muted, John. We can't hear you.
My bad, Sean. My Instagram, and I'm sorry, my YouTube, where I review Love is Blind, is called Love Lens Reviews. My bigger channel is where I do make true crime documentaries. It's called John Crimes. And my Instagram is John Shea 1000. Holla at your boy.
All right. And I'm Sean Davis 120 on IG. So, listen, we had a great conversation tonight. We dived into some nuance. We agreed on some things and we disagreed on a lot of things. But I think at the end of the day, what we do need to understand is that fathers need to step up. If you are the father of a child, you need to be responsible for that child. You need to be in that child's life to guide that child. You also, especially if you come from a situation which isn't ideal, you need to be responsible for breaking generational cycles, because cycles are circles that just continue on, and that's not what we want for our generation and the next generation coming up. So please own your trauma, and don't continue to seep out your trauma on future generations. And that's it. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you, Sean. Listen, audience members, thank you for this great, time that we spent. Listen, whatever side you fall on, whatever perception you have, whatever angle you come from, we are agree. We can agree to disagree. We can see from different points as well. But I think all of us are in agreement. We do want to see these kids in a most safe and healthiest environments as well. So we do want to see that Tyler will do whatever he needs to do with it. It's either see the kids or child support. I don't care which one. You got to choose one. You know what I mean? But in and out never helps the kids. So I'd rather him just be out if he's gonna be out. If he's in, he's in. Do you know what I mean? It's choose one of the two, because doing in and out is always crazy work. But yeah, listen, audience will be back tomorrow. I know Jay's doing a live tomorrow as well. So another round, you're doing a live tomorrow as well. He said 10. He said what? 10 o'clock?
Yeah, 10. It's 10 a.m. PST. So what is that? 1? Is that 1 EST?
1 o'clock EST. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you guys, a few hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys
we're
tune
doing a
into
live reaction
another
right now.
round. Yeah, tune into another round tomorrow. She's doing a live on this as well. So make sure you guys join them as well for the conversation. Yes, I'll be Married at First Sight live. Yes, I'll be coming from London, so I'll be definitely doing one. So I need to watch it tomorrow. But I'll definitely do a Married at First Sight live. So those of us who watch it, get ready for the next episode. I heard it was a little bit of carnage. So, there's going to be a lot to talk about. So I cannot wait to break it down tomorrow as well. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that fabulous bell button for notification of the uploads. And again, listen, keep it cute, keep it classy, keep it kosher. We'll see you guys and ladies very, very soon. Much love, much appreciation. And I'm going to say ta-ra, ta-ra, ta-ra.